valley-wide cooperative. For 100 years, we've been your first choice for residential and commercial propane, fuels, oils, and lubricants. We service HVAC, install water heaters, propane tanks, and accessories. And yes, we'll even deliver right where you need it. Because for us, serving is more than a job, it's a way of life. We are proud to employ your neighbors and to be a cornerstone of your community. We're valley-wide. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. We're here for you.
As Idahoans, we're not afraid to take risks.
All the way, all the way. Go. All the way down, all the way down.
Driving under the influence is not a risk we're willing to take. Be around to do more of what you love.
Vaping sucks you in quick, and the more you vape, the harder it is to quit. Not to mention all the chemicals and health problems. That's why thousands of teens are joining My Life, My Quit. Visit mylifemyquit.com or text Start My Quit to 36072.
Hello, football friends, and welcome into Moscow, Idaho for our IdahoSports.com game streams production, our North Idaho game night. As tonight it will be the Moscow Bears and the visiting Grangeville Bulldogs. Hello, everybody. Hayden Ulenkai here, as well as my newfound friend Tim Silflo. We also have our cameraman Sam Mager running the sticks. As always, this game is presented by Project Filter, Valley-Wide Cooperative, Next Steps Idaho, Ideal, Idaho's College Savings Program, and the Idaho Office of Highway Safety. We are stoked to bring you this game as it is the 2025 season opener, as we're up here on the Palouse. And we'll start with the Palouse. Tim, you sat down and met with Rob Bafis over the week and had a conversation about how he expected the season to go and his expectations, the team outlook. What was your big takeaways from that meeting?
I think the biggest thing for them is just new experience, kind of a new team, young team, and injuries. You look at their lineup here of kids that are injured, and it's a pretty big blow to that Moscow Bears team. So, but yeah, talking to Coach Bafis, he, Bears 7-3 overall last year, 2-0 in league, lost in the first round of the playoffs to American Falls. A couple of big kids they lost to graduation as well, Butch Kiblin, Connor Isaacson, and Noah Velasco set a school record for passing yards, 3-year starter, playing quarterback for Briarcliff University now. So big shoes to fill in the quarterback spot. That was kind of another thing I took away from Coach Bafis. Injury-wise, Keaton Fry, Gatorade Player of the Year nominee, had a kind of I guess maybe a botched surgery over the summer. Had to get it redone. Not sure when they're going to get him back. He was, looking to be kind of the big star for Moscow. Mason Helbling, he was kind of voted for up-and-comer of the league last year. He tore his ACL in a scrimmage this summer. And then Finney Needham also out with an ACL. But down 15 seniors, they've only got 39 kids. That was one thing Coach Bafis was really worried about was, just not very big numbers for this size of a school. But he's super excited about them. He said, that was one of the things he said. He goes, I think these 39 kids will all go to war with me. I think as a coach, if you feel that way, that's got to give you a lot of confidence. Replacing that quarterback, maybe by committee. We're probably going to find out here pretty quick who it's going to be, but he's pretty excited about a freshman, Wyatt Cross. He's actually the son of tight ends coach Sheldon Cross at the U of I. He said this kid, he's a freshman, but he's been around football his whole life, raised by a D1 coach in a locker room. So pretty excited about him. They got a couple of transfers in. But yeah, they're looking at Colton Kendall. He's a new transfer, I think, out of Pullman. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but it's kind of a new team here. one thing he really said he's going to, if you look down the sideline, he's got 14 assistant coaches. And he thought having that many coaches would really help these young kids learn. I think he's really looking forward to how these kids respond being young and shorthanded, but we'll know here pretty quick.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned some of those kids, Mason Kelbling and Finney Needham. You mentioned how they both went down with injuries. They both were in the summer, and it was actually in a scrimmage against Grangeville this
was it
summer.
Really? No kidding.
They played, and it was in a matter of minutes those two got hurt. And it's like, man, it's a tough play because, you want to get your kid reps. You want to allow them to get the opportunity to get some time in during the summer. And, of course, that happens to some of your best players. And so it's unfortunate, but you have kids that are going to be able to step into those shoes and hopefully fill them. On the other side, you have Grangeville. You have Jeff Adams. He's coming into his 9th season. He is stoked about this team. It's, a bunch of juniors that are now getting the opportunity to play. They were sophomores last year, and a lot of them got a lot of valuable minutes. The kid that I am excited to see is Gage Smith. If you watched any of the IdahoSports.com previews with Brandon Bainey and the crew there, they talked heavily just about how Gage was such a great defensive lineman. And they actually thought he was an offensive lineman as well, but joke's on them. He's the actual starting quarterback. And he's quite the quarterback. He's extremely cerebral. He has the ability to know the play before it's happening, and he's the perfect player you could have as the guy on the field that's basically just working right through the coach. So I'm excited to see Gage plays a big athlete. Can't move the greatest, but he is a really strong kid that can move around and hopefully read the defense and produce at a high level. The other kids to look at is really the entire offensive line. Now, it's funny you say that because the entire offensive line was replaced last year. They had 4 seniors that graduated and then 1 that was a junior that decided not to come out this year. So they bring in 5 offensive linemen that have only played JV, and then you also have some kids like Kobe Beach. He's a guy that we're going to mention later on in the broadcast, but he was a starting wide receiver last year as a junior, got lots of reps, really good athlete, and now he's playing offensive line, and he'll actually switch out a little bit between offensive line and running back. He might even switch jerseys. So it'll be exciting to see how this offensive line moves together. It could be, a little interesting to see how they work. Just because they haven't got a lot of reps, but I'm excited to watch them. Well, our national anthem's just about to kick off here, so we're going to step aside, take a quick break, and be back here on IdahoSports.com for the kickoff of the 2025 season.
We're Valley-wide cooperative. For 100 years, we've been your first choice for residential and commercial propane, fuels, oils, and lubricants. We service HVAC, install water heaters, propane tanks, and accessories. And yes, we'll even deliver right where you need it. Because for us, serving is more than a job, it's a way of life. We are proud to employ your neighbors and to be a cornerstone of your community. We're Valley-wide. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. We're here for you. At Valley-wide Cooperative, we're here when you need us. For 100 years, we have been here to help you with food, fuel, and good old-fashioned advice. And for us, serving is more than a job, it's a way of life, which is why we pour so much into the communities around us. We've employed hundreds of your neighbors. We take pride in that, and in giving back millions in sponsorships, grants, donations, and scholarships. It's our way of saying thanks. We're Valley-wide, and yesterday, today, and tomorrow, we're here for you.
Vaping sucks you in quick, and the more you vape, the harder it is to quit. Not to mention all the chemicals and health problems. That's why thousands of teens are joining My Life, My Quit. Visit mylifemyquit.com or text StartMyQuit to 36072.
Idaho isn't your average state, and we are not your average people. We're not afraid to jump feet first, and we see the world a little differently. We know the importance of slowing down and the value of catching up. When we're not busy getting lost, we're looking out for one another. Our whitewater is aggressive, but our driving is not. We know all about taking chances, but we also know our limits. We drive safely because we care. It's who we are.
As Idahoans, we're not afraid to take risks.
All the way. Go. All the way down.
Driving under the influence is not a risk we're willing to take. Be around to do more of what you love.
Welcome back here to IdahoSports.com for North Idaho game night here in Moscow as the Grangeville Bulldogs will take on the Moscow Bears. As we just finished presenting the colors and a great national anthem by the Moscow Choir. And we're getting ready for kickoff tonight. As Tim, some of the takeaways that I wanted, and, keys to victory, if you will. I look at Grangeville, and the big keys to victory, I think it has to be for Grangeville, is shutting down that run game. If they can shut down the run game, put some pressure on the freshmen to throw the ball around, they're going to be in a really good spot to win the game.
Yep.
The other spot that I look at for Grangeville is playing the smart game. Grangeville's a team notoriously that has struggled with the penalties. Okay. And if they're a team that can stay out of that and play just a clean football game against this team that's, Moscow's a lot deeper. Moscow theoretically should be better. They're a 4A team. Grangeville's 3A. So if they play smart, they're going to be in a good spot. But it comes down to that important component for Grangeville. If you had to think, Tim, what would be the main keys to victory if you were the Moscow Bears?
Oh, I think, probably a little bit of the penalty thing, I would think, where if you're young, kind of inexperienced, first games sometimes always tend to be a little bit ugly. So, yeah, keeping the penalties down. And then I would say probably using your depth. I know he said that they're young and only 39 kids, but 39 compared to what Grangeville has, you're still deeper. So, I think if you can rotate kids and keep them fresh, especially this first game of the year, you're not in game shape yet. And then, I think just for him, probably getting a lot of experience out of these kids and seeing what works. And once it starts working, maybe stick with that for a little bit. It might take kind of moving puzzle pieces around for the first quarter, but once you figure out what's working, is it going to be your pass game? I know he wants to be a pass-heavy. Is what he's thinking, come out, make a stand on defense, and have the rest of the game kind of follow that defensive lead.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you. I think Moscow's in a really good spot they have this freshman quarterback, and, the way that Rob kind of put it was he kind of dropped into their lap. It was all because Coach Ford from U of I decided to take the job, bring in this new coach from Florida. I think that's where Sheldon Cross is from, and he brings his son with him. And you're right, it's going to be a great opportunity to see how well Wyatt Cross adjusts to a varsity game. This is his first snap.
Yep.
And, if all else fails in, maybe Grangeville's really hammering down on the pass, you have this opportunity with Austin Mallett. He's a sophomore, and he's more of a mobile quarterback. So if maybe there's other packages, there's a wildcat look you could throw at him.
Yep. And
it could be an opportunity for Austin Mallett to come out and run the ball hard. He has good running backs behind him with Colton Kindle, like you mentioned, the transfer from Pullman. It's going to be exciting to see this Bears team. Right now across the area of North Idaho and Idaho itself, there are a lot of other games going on. As probably the biggest one has got to be Coeur d'Alene and Rigby. That's a massive 6A matchup down in the East Idaho area. The other teams that are kicking off is Kendrick and Butte County. Tim, and I know you're a big supporter of the Kendrick Tigers, but what's the score looking like there?
Kendrick is up 38-0 at halftime, so they look to be still firing on all cylinders, even with a new young coach at the helm. So
new head coach. You're not
exciting.
Kidding. New head coach. Ty's not even 20 years old yet.
No, supposedly the youngest high school coach in the nation is what somebody put out there. So I don't know if that's actually true or not, but we'll run with it. How about that?
Absolutely. It's a great recognition for Ty. Ty Kemp, the quarterback of Kendrick, just 2 years ago, and came off 3 state championships, and now is leading the Kendrick Tigers against a team that was the runner-up last year.
Yeah.
Kendrick made the jump up. What would you expect from Lewiston on the year?
I'm not exactly sure. I to be completely honest, I haven't followed Lewiston a lot. You know, I've kind of talked to Zane a little bit through the summer, but not a lot. And even he was kind of, you know, he's trying to figure it out, what to expect. And I think he definitely knows he's got a program to build there. But I tell you what, I think they got the right guy. You know, he can really get people to buy into a program, and he's very passionate about it, and he's a fantastic coach. So I think Lewiston's got nothing but greatness to look forward to in the next several years.
I agree with you there. Moscow is going to be the team going to be the first team to receive the ball tonight. We'll see who's going to kick off for the Bulldogs. As a new staff, not a new staff necessarily, but a new ball club for Grangeville, as they had lost over, I think it was 13 or 12 seniors. And so to see how they recover will sure be an interesting story.
I think the thing I'm most interested in is this quarterback/defensive lineman. That's really got me intrigued. Is he like an interior defensive lineman or D-end?
He's a do-it-all.
Do-it-all. You don't see that very often. I'm anxious to see this.
I would tell you Gage Smith's probably about 6 foot, and you can see him right in front of us, Tim. He's probably about 220, 230. He's got some meat on the bones. Kicking off for Grangeville is going to be Gavin Blewett, the junior. Nice day in Moscow, a little smoky, and we are underway. It'll be Kendall with the ball as he brings it up the seams and finally brought down just past the 30-yard line.
Reminder, if you have starters or are serving in the military or as a first responder, go check out the Bears.
So it looks like Wyatt Cross will be leading them out, the freshman, getting the first snaps of the season for the Bears.
I think he's got a lot of trust in him. I think his football life has led him to this starting spot for him.
They spread things out to start off with Kendall in the sidecar, I believe. RPO just over the head of the intended receiver. That was Austin Malice. So the other quarterback option gets the throw, and it was just off him.
You know, when you wind up with some injuries, especially to, you know, a lot of your wideouts that you're expecting Wyatt Cross to throw to, well, I mean, you got to go to your next best athlete. So if you have a kid that was contending for a starting quarterback spot, get him on the field somehow, right?
Austin Malt will be a big component of this Moscow team throughout the year. Once again, Moscow goes wide. We'll see what they draw up here on 2nd and 10, just starting off this first quarter. Finds the receiver down low and picks up a couple. Not entirely sure who was the receiver on that play.
I was going to say, I thought it was Mallet again.
I think you're right. It was Mallet. So gets an opportunity there. Still 3rd and 7, Moscow rather, having to find something here to pick up the sticks. Might have to look to throw once more. RPO once more. It's Mallet once more. Up the sideline he goes. Gets past a couple Bulldogs and is now across midfield 3 plays into the season.
That's good for one more there.
So here's what I'm thinking already. We're going to see at some point in time, we're going to see a quick pass to Mallet, and then Mallet's going to pass it himself. What do you think?
Hey, that's a really interesting idea. If you have that quarterback capabilities, make sure it's a backwards pass, open it up.
I think if you're Grangeville's defense, you got to kind of keep that in the back of your mind a little bit.
Haven't seen a touch yet from the junior running back, Colton Kendall. Good opportunity for him here. They go to him, gets past a few defenders. Flag flies behind the play to a gain of 17 plus, and it looks like it may come back.
Yep. Even with the hold, I really like that. I mean, he looks like a really good runner right there. He ran with a lot of steam, and looks like that might be a pretty good transfer from Moscow right there from that first touch.
He was a player that Rob Bafis was really excited about. And after one play, you can see why. So now they take a little bit of a substitution. He comes out. Now into the game, Sam Drake. A little smaller build. I would think more of a receiving back, as he lists at 5'7", 170, compared to Kendall, who's 5'11", 210. That's a good size running back.
Yeah, he is a good size.
1st and 20. Ten minutes here in the opening quarter. Jet sweep all the way up to Mallet as he gains 8. And it's going to be 2nd and 12.
Like Kobe Beach, the one senior, got in on a tackle there, so good to get him involved here a little bit on the defense.
Yeah, Grangeville's defense does fly around. You look out there, all of them have that athletic build. They can all move very quickly. They have Moscow backed up here, 2nd and 12. What will the Bears respond with? Cross. Across the middle and just behind the intended receiver. As that was George Stott. First time we've seen Cross look the other direction from Mallet. This time, the senior, George Stott, he's 6'3", 190. That's a good-sized receiver as well.
Yeah, he was another kid that Coach Bafis, talked a little bit about, that he's pretty excited to see what he's going to bring to the team here this year.
Grangeville maybe looks to bring pressure here as the linebackers are stepped up. A little orbit motion to Kendall and a quick pass. That's caught. It's Ryle Cheney. And it'll be close. No decision yet. Tim, what do you think?
A little short. Yeah, I thought he was a little short.
I would think you go for it here, just a gut instinct.
So.
I'm also from that 8-man territory where you always go for it.
Yeah. Well, you're not in field goal range unless you've got a real stud kicker in high school. I don't think you're going to punt this. You just go for it. You get this. That's a lot of that's a good confidence boost for your whole team if you get this.
Well, I do not know if Cross is not in the game. I believe it's Austin Mallet.
There's your running quarterback.
To the side he goes and gets the first down. Austin Mallet squeezes by a couple Bulldogs, and they move the chains. Good blocking from that Moscow offensive line and receivers to slide with the play and just fend Grangeville off enough to get the first down.
Hayden, you talked about that before the game, that maybe we see a little bit of wildcat formation out of Moscow and get Mallet involved where he's more of their running quarterback. So good call by Coach Bafis there. Or I guess maybe it's their offensive coordinator, Coach Lewis.
Yeah, TJ Lewis has a really good relationship with Bafis.
Yeah, Bafis referred to him as just like a son.
Yeah, he actually does have a son on the roster.
Defensive coordinator is his son, Zach.
And Zach, I believe, played at the University of Idaho, was a preferred walk-on, got a scholarship, and now coaching the defensive side of the ball for the Bears. Out to the receiver. That's Derek Rader. He gets a few. Moving the chain slowly. 7:15 here in the quarter. As it's 2nd and 7 for the Bears. Grangeville's defense not giving up anything crazy yet. They're stopping them right when they get the ball, but slowly but surely Moscow's moving on them. which is what you probably want with a freshman quarterback. And blocked off the play. What a play there by the defensive lineman, Will Told.
Broken up by number 12, Told.
What is that, Tim? Probably the 4th or 5th time we've seen Moscow look for the RPO.
Yeah, they seem to really like that. Just trying to get some athletes out in space and get some of their other receivers to block downfield. It also sets you up for kind of a long, you get that defense kind of falling asleep to those quick passes, and all of a sudden you get beat deep.
Yeah, Grangeville's chomping at the bit for any of these RPOs plays. Is 3 receivers at the bottom of your screen on 3rd and 7. Cross, once again, looking underneath, finds Raider. And to the 23 he goes.
Well, and I think the other thing, too, for Moscow, you got, again, you got a freshman quarterback. These quick passes, you've kind of got your decision made right off the bat. So you get him comfortable, and then maybe later in the game let him sit back and try to pick the defense apart a little bit. But let him get comfortable here. I like that.
And it's an interesting approach because you're not necessarily, I would think that you maybe start the ball off, handing the ball off a lot to Kendall, keep him going. Instead, they're like, no, let's just air it out. Maybe it's these quick RPO passes, get him in a rhythm, make him feel comfortable. And now, just about inside the red zone, at the 23-yard line, in a good spot to score. Cross looking deep, has a receiver just over the head of Ryle Cheney.
Brings up 2nd down.
Good separation from Cheney. Couldn't, just over the fingertips of him by Cross.
I am a little bit surprised that we haven't seen a little bit more out of Colton Kendall here in this first drive. That one run he got called back on a hold, I thought he looked great.
Split back look here for the Bears with Raider in the backfield, more of a receiver type. Kendall on his left. They go to Raider. Up the middle. And on the tackle, Colton Heitzman.
That's one thing I've seen so far out of these Grangeville Bulldogs is they tackle pretty well. We haven't seen a lot of broken tackles. And like you said, they all get to the ball really good.
Flowing really well, no defensive miscues yet. Starting off in your first drive of the season. And over halfway through this opening quarter, we're at the 5:25 mark, and Grangeville's not even gotten close to touching the ball. Then Cross now with a 3rd and 6, just at the 20-yard line. And a little quick pass to Raider, and it's going to be called incomplete, and that's a lucky one if you're Wyatt Cross.
Double pass is incomplete.
If you're just tuning in here, Tim, why is that? It's considered a forward pass, and that's why it's going to be incomplete. Is that correct?
Yep. Yeah, even though it's behind the line of scrimmage, it's still a forward pass. I know a lot of people get confused. They think it's back there. It's more of a handoff, but definitely a forward pass. So,
and gives Moscow new life. Yeah, 4th and 6 instead of turned over to Grangeville. And they'll stick with Cross here on 4th down.
This would be a huge play for a stop out of Grangeville right here, especially after getting into this deep into the quarter. If they could hold him out of the end zone.
Press coverage at the bottom of your screen to Cheney. They look for him earlier. They look again. And tipped up. Oh, great defensive play from the corner, Troy Long.
Pass is incomplete. Intended for Cheney.
And a great drive for Moscow comes up with nothing. And the Grangeville defense, bend but don't break, turns out to be the perfect formula.
Oh, I'd say as a coach, to watch your defense be on the field for that long and hold them on a 4th down, that's going to give you a lot of excitement. Get these players fired up as well.
And the era of Gage Smith is underway here for Grangeville. They'll also open it up, 3 receivers at the top of the screen, and a blitz coming from the Bears. And Affects the throw. Looking for Parker Pooley. And it'll bring up 2nd and 10 for Grangeville. 5 minutes here in the opening quarter.
We talked about the Moscow Bears injuries and how it affected them offensively, but I think every one of those kids, too, played a huge part on their defense as well.
Yes, Finney Needham's a big name. 5'11", 210. He's got some muscle underneath him and has been working the weight room, and not having him on the field right now is going to play a role in the Bears' defensive game plan. Hitch outside. I believe that's Shoemaker. It is. And moves the chains.
Pass is caught by 17, Schumacher.
That's a lot of how Grangeville operates. They kind of the same thing as Moscow. They want these quick throws. They look more like hitches and just quick routes for their receivers, and then once they get it to them, try to make a man miss and get upfield. So realistically, a very similar offense is playing tonight.
I love when you just put the ball in an athlete's hand and say, go make a play. Go be a stud.
Hollis Elliott in the backfield right next to Smith. And another hitch. And it looked like they were setting up a hook and ladder. And their fumble was on the play, but the player was down. That was Parker Pooley on the catch.
I thought for sure they were going the hook and ladder right there. It 100% looked like they had it set up.
Yeah, I almost would have if I was Pooley there. In a really good spot. You had Hollis Elliott coming right behind. Maybe he's setting something up for later.
Could be.
Shoemaker out wide, Pooley right next to him. They go to Elliott, and the Bears defense closing in. And Cheney finishing the deal.
The Red Storm.
Backs him up. Now looking at 3rd and 6. Just under 4 minutes here in the opening quarter.
Good contact there by Cheney. He got a good pop on him right off the bat. Stopped his momentum instantly.
Cheney, one of their linebackers on the year. Smith reading the defense here. Drops back, pressure once more. He rolls out, though. Has a man over the head of the receiver. He was trying to find Jeffrey Dolan. And now 4th and 6.
It's easy for me to sit up here and say this, but it looked to me like he should have just tucked that and ran with it. It looked like he had a little bit of an opening there, and he's a big kid. You think some contact and fall forward, you might get that first down.
Gage Smith's a hard runner. He definitely could have, and now Grangeville with a conservative decision here to punt it away as Blewett will kick off.
Back deep for the Bears, number 8, Raider.
Back deep is Mr. Raider.
24, Blewett.
And a flag on the play. We'll see what this one is. Nice punt. But I'll be curious to see what this flag is, because if it is on Moscow, it could be a first down for Grangeville.
If not a first down, at least maybe close enough to make you think about going for it. Oh, nope.
It's on the Bulldogs. We do want to recognize some of our great officials. We're having a great turnout, actually, for officials. There's more and more coming out each year. But on the field tonight, it's Dan Davenport, Jay Minuti, Emery Wilson, Kirby Kirkham, and Ryan Lawrence out of District 2. I like our officials out of District 2, Tim. I really do.
I hate to be partial, but I feel like we've got some of the best officials in the state.
Oh, man, you look at football, basketball, baseball. I just really, really like our officials up here. There are so many great officials.
From all my years in coaching, as well as you travel around the state and go down to state tournaments and things like that, you hear that from other districts as well, from their coaches and fans. They always say that they always impressed with our referees.
They sure do a great job, and if you are interested, really just look up officiating for Idaho, and you're going to have a great opportunity to apply and be a part of that great team down on the field in black and white. Moscow takes over, and out to Kindle they go. Has running room and quickly shut down, but it'll be a gain of 8. I tell you what, get the ball in Colton Kindle's hands, and you're going to have success.
Yeah, I like that. He's a strong runner. He's shown that twice now. Back to your little plug there for getting more officials. I couldn't agree with you more on that. And for anybody out there listening that hasn't checked into it, it's actually not a bad way to make some pretty good extra money. If you're a broke college kid, go do some refereeing.
Absolutely. That's a great plug. I love it. 2:30 here in the quarter. Moscow on their second drive of the night. Cross looking deep once more, and just over the hand of Cheney, and a late flag comes out right at the line of scrimmage. And it looked like after the throw,
an eligible man downfield, I think is what they called.
Believe you are right. So they're going to back it up on the Bears. I felt good about saying Austin Mallett was the key receiver, but right now it looks like Ryle Cheney. He's a big-bodied guy coming in at 6'1", 170. They're really trying to put pressure on those Grangeville DBs, and that's really where Grangeville has the most experience, is that secondary. They have a couple dudes, Troy Long and Tate Shoemaker, Parker Pooley, gotten a lot of minutes during the season last year, and they have played some football. 2nd and 7 here for Moscow. I want to jump on Grangeville, a little too antsy by the big man, Cody York. And just like that, Moscow's right back where they started on 2nd and short.
Well, in reference to the initial main target was Austin Mallett. If you look down to your left, he is sitting on the bench with his cleat off and ice on his ankle. I would think if you're Coach Bafus, that just gives you a little bit more heartburn when you see your backup quarterback and a pretty good athlete on the sideline again.
Yeah, one more injury for the Bears is going to make it really tough for this team, but they're going to keep moving on. 2nd and short, good opportunity to pick up the first down as we're getting close to the end of the first quarter. Cross drops back, has a receiver, gets it to Rader, has space, and up to the 48-yard line. Good tackle there by Hollis Elliott on the play. Cross is very comfortable with those RPOs and short passes, and I think they're just trying to work him into the long game and give him a good look. At the 2-minute mark, 1st and 10 for Moscow at the 48. Trying to get back in Grangeville territory. The last drive they ended at the 20-yard line of Grangeville, came up with nothing on a 4th down. Cross, looking through his reads, he's going to take off and run. Gets past a defender, still trying to find room, and finally brought down there by Kobe Beach.
Cross picks up 2.
That's one thing I've been kind of looking forward to seeing is getting, Cross getting flushed out of the pocket, see how he runs, see how he handles himself out there, and looked fairly shifty.
Has that quarterback mobility. Yeah, not quite the mobility of a Colton Kindle, but the mobility of a guy that just has to do enough to get by.
But then I guess on the other side of this, if you're Coach Bafus and you see your quarterback out scrambling and your backup quarterback's on the bench icing his ankle, do you just tell him to get down?
You're like, get down, man. We cannot have you hurt because I don't know who we're going to after you. 2nd and long. Grangeville's defense trying to hold. Cross looking out once again. Finds Rader.
A great catch.
Now, one of the Grangeville defensive backs, I don't have a number on there, was trying to make a play and just was a little too early.
I think it was Pooley.
It might have been. And Grangeville only with around 15 players on the varsity lineup. They do have about 15 JV players, but slim pickings for the Grangeville Bulldogs after the 12 seniors graduate. Third and manageable here for Wyatt Cross. And another flag flies. Kind of looked like a false start.
False start, Moscow.
And backs him up once more.
So you might know the answer to this and maybe not, but if you're Grangeville and you've only got 15 varsity football players, is the numbers in the school down? Is there a lack of interest? Why do you see a 3A school with that low of numbers?
I think part of it is you have ebbs and flows with Grangeville. You have a sophomore class that has 12 players, and it's a real 12 players. And we just came to the end of the first quarter. We'll keep it here and we'll recognize some of our boosters. But to answer your question, Tim, I think it depends on the group of kids. This sophomore or this junior class now has a huge interest in sports. They play every single sport: football, basketball, baseball, and track. And I think it really varies because you have this senior class. There are a lot of kids, so I think it would kind of come down to an interest level.
Okay.
Just not having enough success, maybe growing up as a young kid, or just not having the interest. Because it really flows. Because I know their freshman class has a really big group of kids coming in and are really good athletes. And I think even their 7th grade class has a good group of kids coming up. So it almost seems like every other year they have a bunch of kids. And then every other, the year in between, they kind of struggle with it.
Yeah.
But, Tim, why don't you read off some of our power boosters that we have this evening for Moscow and Grangeville?
Yeah, so the Moscow Bears would like to recognize their power boosters: Bearable Dentistry, Hayden Ross Wealth Management and Accounting Services, North Idaho Crushing, Omega Electric, Powell Plumbing, Shorts Funeral Chapel, So Chill Cryotherapy, Strom Electric, and University Auto Sales. Big thank you to those power boosters.
Absolutely. For Grangeville, it's Advanced Welding and Steel, Cloninger's Marketplace, Cottonwood Community Credit, Federal Credit Union, and Syringa Hospital. As always, this game is being audio streamed live and free on IdahoSports.com. If you have friends or family anywhere in the world that can't be here in person, give them a call. Tell them to watch the game on IdahoSports.com. Second quarter just about to kick off here, as it's a 3rd and long for the Bears. Cross looking for the route underneath and can't hold on is Cheney.
Pass incomplete. Punting unit comes on. Also, like to remember, next week.
4th down, long. Looks like they will decide to punt it away.
Next week, Friday night, 6 o'clock, as we take on Caldwell.
Watching them switch out some personnel for the punt team, I see number 72, Frankie Owen, come off the field, and looking over here to 6'8", 285, sophomore.
Giant of a man. Grangeville almost gets the block punt. Pooley came flying in there. The punter for Moscow was George Stott, and Grangeville starts out right at their own 20.
On the punt was 16, George Stott.
Smith at the helm for his second drive of the evening to start off this second quarter. It's 1st and 10 and a quick pass outright. And Pooley's gobbled up by Cheney.
Tackled immediately by King. Gain of 1 brings up 2nd and 9.
Second and long for the Bulldogs. At the bottom of your screen is Troy Long, the junior wideout, also the point guard for the Grangeville basketball team. Looking deep across the middle and just a little too much heat for it. Trying to find Colton Heitzman.
He could have hit him in stride. I think that's 6. He didn't have anything but green in front of him.
A little early season kinks he got to work out. And you're right, he threw that pump fake and the whole defense bit and throw a little air underneath it. You might be looking at a touchdown. Smith, 3rd and long, looking deep, steps up. He's going to tumble forward and power into the first down, but lost the ball. But he must have got it back and advances the chains. I think your assumption earlier, Tim, about him taking off and running might have been the right one.
Seeing him barreling down at that kind of speed, you got to kind of make a business decision if you're a DB in that point. Step up, are you going to hit him or not?
I don't think I'd want to mess around with Gage Smith. He's got some beef on him.
He is not slow either. I'm impressed with his speed out of his size he's got.
Moving the chains, first down for Grangeville. 10 minutes here in the second quarter for our season opener here in 2025. Smith finding his receiver. And on his knees, Will Told gets the first catch.
Gain of 3 brings up 2nd and 7.
One thing I've noticed over my years of coaching, we'd go play some non-league games in basketball against Grangeville quite a bit. And one thing I was always impressed with their kids, it didn't matter if they were really good or maybe not the best basketball team. Their kids they didn't have any quit in them. And they battle, they're strong, they're just very competitive kids.
They look to Elliott, and it's the first run of the game, and Elliott has some room. Down the far sideline he goes. Can Rader catch him? He can, right at the 10. Hollis Elliott, the junior, the sophomore. And a late flag, and Bulldogs and Bears have to be separated. Derek Rader with a great effort to save 6 off the board, but man, Hollis Elliott.
He was a fingertip away from a touchdown. I'm anxious to see what the call here is, and you kind of hope what you talked about before with Grangeville sometimes having some of their own problems with getting penalties. You hope that's not what this is and bring them back out of the red zone.
And it goes on Moscow and Grangeville as well. Offsetting penalties.
Offsetting personal foul.
So it will be right at the 10 in Grangeville. For some reason, it's coming out to the 50. And now they're saying, "No, come on down. We're at the 10-yard line, man."
I think they were working on their conditioning. They need to get another 40-yard dash in here real quick.
First run of the game for Hollis Elliott, and a big one, almost a touchdown, and now Grangeville's in a great spot. First and goal for Smith. And right up the middle he goes. Runs through a Bear. And it's going to be close.
Second and goal.
Smith looking out wide, finds Elliott and hit hard behind the line of scrimmage.
Looks like that tackle was made by 81. If you can see those numbers from here, you're better than I am. Third down, let's make some noise.
Third down for Grangeville, third and goal. 7:45 here in the second quarter. Hand off to Elliott and meets a pile of Bears.
I think you had Raider in there again. No, it wasn't Raider.
By a host of Bears. Brings up fourth down.
Well, as the Bears announcer said, a host of Bears. We'll go with that.
Grangeville taking their time here. Fourth and goal. It's a big play. And called dead. And a timeout by Jeff Adams. That's a good one. That's a smart play. And you know what? We'll do the same. We'll step aside, take a quick 30-second break, and come back here for this big play here in Moscow for North Idaho game night.
We're Valley-wide Cooperative. For 100 years, we've been your first choice for residential and commercial propane, fuels, oils, and lubricants. We service HVAC, install water heaters, propane tanks, and accessories. And yes, we'll even deliver right where you need it. Because for us, serving is more than a job, it's a way of life. We are proud to employ your neighbors and to be a cornerstone of your community. We're Valley-wide. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. We're here for you.
Welcome back here to our IdahoSports.com game streams production. Thank you for kicking it here with us on our North Idaho game night. Hayden Uhlencott here as well as Tim Silflo. Tim, if you had to guess, what is Jeff Adams drawing up here? Fourth and goal from probably around the 5-yard line, it looks like. Massive play here for Grangeville.
I think you got to put it in the hands of your quarterback. Big kid. Strong runner. I think you get him behind your line and just let him go downhill.
Smith takes the snap. Looking underneath, finds Elliott. Trying to evade defenders, and the Bears got in. You're right.
There's also a flag in the backfield, but it was near the quarterback.
All the coaches from Moscow were really hoping for a false start.
Well, he just called a penalty on Grangeville.
No decision made here.
His initial call was against Grangeville, but I'm thinking he might have made the wrong call. Not sure.
Now the head referee, Dan Davenport, having a discussion with Jeff Adams. Personal foul on, I thought that was Grangeville, but.
Yeah.
Now they're going to keep it at 4th. Oh, okay, so they do decide. It is on Moscow. A personal foul looks like roughing the passer. And a new set of downs inside the 5 for Grangeville. They hand it off. It's to Pooley. And he goes nowhere. First time you've seen Grangeville under center tonight, and it doesn't work out for him.
So 6:47 remaining in our second quarter.
And a timeout on the play, 6:47 in the second quarter. Both teams heading over to their coaches. Tim, did you see who took the timeout there?
I did not.
They decide to call it a... Oh, so what happened here is they did call it a touchdown. Wow, we are behind the game.
Yes, we are, aren't we? Yep.
They did not.
Man.
I did not see him acknowledge that they called it a touchdown.
I never did either. So
at the 6:54 mark, if you just missed it, Hollis Elliott had a little dump off from Gage Smith, and he wiggled his way to the end zone, got the touchdown, and they went for 2, handed it off to Parker Pooley, didn't get it.
But I think what threw us off was the talk on the penalty and what they were going to do. And
you are 100% right. It was confusing what was actually happening.
Well, here's the thing. Both teams, it's their first game of the year. They're getting their jitters out. It's our first game, too. We got jitters. We're nervous. We'll work through it.
I sure hope so. If not, it's going to be a rough season. So they decide to enforce it on the kickoff. You know, Moscow's coaches is what threw me off. They were all saying that it was a false start, and so I figured, well, you know, the Bears, they can't be wrong. And apparently they were, and so are we. So Blewett will kick off from the 45-yard line of Moscow. Looks like Cheney with it. Finds room on the near sideline and kicked down at the 26.
On the return, 32, Cheney. Bears take over.
I think if you're Moscow, you like what you've done these first 2 drives. It's just finishing the deal. Getting in those spots where you're in a short, you know, a 2nd and short or a 3rd and short, even a 4th and short, gets you a good opportunity to move the chains instead of falling back in, 2nd and long and having to have the freshman throw the ball around. Puts you in a tough spot. Split backs for the Bears. Forward pass. They find number 16, George Stott, I believe. Yes. And that's what you're hoping for Moscow. Put the freshman in a good spot to succeed.
Gain of 10 and one more Bear. Remember, fans, we do encourage audience participation.
Three receivers at the top of your screen with Kendall, who only has 1 carry on the afternoon, or in the evening, in the sidecar. Lots of time for cross, and off the hands of the big receiver, Curtis Carr.
I don't have a number 2
Pass intended for Carr.
for Grangeville on my roster.
2nd down.
But he made a nice break up there on the pass.
You know, Grangeville, all those people up in Grangeville, it's hard to figure out what's going on. You know, like I mentioned, Kobe Beach, he's an offensive lineman, but he also plays running back. And he changes numbers. He goes from 33 to 52. And right now, they've decided he is the lineman for the day, but they will change it out during the season, if there's a drive and they want him to play running back, they'll switch out his jersey. I've never seen that before. Across the middle, they find a guy, and Stop makes up for his miscue earlier and gets the first down. Cross right on the money.
That's good for one more there.
See why Coach Bayfus was excited about him. He's showing a couple of really nice runs here with run after the catch, and looks like a real nice athlete.
At the 50-yard line, the Bears hopefully getting something in motion.
That's what you want too with your Fred. Get a little rhythm. Get things flowing. Make it where you almost don't even have to think.
Splitbacks once again. They hand it off. I believe that's Raider. He gets a full head of steam. Not Raider. They take that back. That's Sam Drake, the other running back.
Gain of 1 for number 4, Drake. Timeout.
And a timeout on the play will go to Moscow. You know what? We'll do the same. Take a quick 30-second timeout. Come back. Grangeville has the lead. 6-0 in the second quarter. There's 5:41 before we head to halftime. We'll be back in 30 seconds.
Cooperative. We're here when you need us. For 100 years, we have been here to help you with food, fuel, and good old-fashioned advice. And for us, serving is more than a job. It's a way of life, which is why we pour so much into the communities around us. We've employed hundreds of your neighbors. We take pride in that, and in giving back millions in sponsorships, grants, donations, and scholarships. It's our way of saying thanks. We're Valleywide, and yesterday, today, and tomorrow, we're here for you.
Welcome back here to Moscow. As we are at Bear Field, and quickly, Tim, here, let's recognize some of our great power boosters for both teams.
Yeah, Moscow Bears Bearable Dentistry, Hayden Ross Wealth Management Accounting Services, North Idaho Crushing, Omega Electric, Powell Plumbing, Shorts Funeral Chapel, So Chill Cryotherapy, Strom Electric, University Auto Sales.
Second and long for Wyatt Cross, the freshman quarterback, getting his first licks. And a late pass, good defense by Tate Shoemaker.
Great breakup there on that.
Pass incomplete, brings up 3rd down.
If he had it to him a second earlier, he would have got past Shoemaker, but great, like you mentioned, great play by Shoemaker to come in to break up the play there. Our power boosters for Grangeville are Advanced Welding and Steel, Cloninger's Marketplace, Cottonwood Community Credit Union, and Syringa Hospital. Now, if you're interested in being a power booster, that's what you want to know. If you want to be a power booster, all you have to do is reach out to sales at IdahoSports.com. You could probably find out within 24 hours if you want to be a sponsor and be a part of it. And you could have banners, you can have a large clickable display on IdahoSports.com. It's a great opportunity. They look to Cheney on the near side. Breaks a man's ankles. Breaks another one, and inside the 40 and the 30, put him at the 32. So a new set of chains here at the 5:20 mark for Moscow in the second quarter. I'm telling you, Tim, I really want to see Colton Kendall touch that rock again.
I as well. I'm every play I'm kind of getting a little bit of anxiety. Like, come on, let's see him run. I like that kid. He looks great.
They motion Kendall and look for him. What do we know? We are experts. He has space, lots of it. And runs over a man, first down. I tell you what, Tim, I'm not saying we should be down there, but we are good at calling plays. Get that man the rock.
They had to have heard you.
We're just up here yelling. I think anybody could. Inside the 20, Moscow's, this is the furthest they've been. They got to the 20-yard line once and turned it over on downs. Now at the 19. And another timeout Bafis used 2 on this drive, and we'll keep it here. Do you have what it takes to be a power booster for your school on IdahoSports.com? Show your devotion to your school and advertise your business at the same time by becoming a power booster. You get a large clickable display banner on every team page for your school and a clickable link with your business name on every broadcast we do for your school during the regular season and the state tournaments. That's what makes it good. Power boosters are a great way for you and your business to be seen by tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands of current and potential clients and customers. And the best part, it's 100% tax deductible. Becoming a power booster is fast and easy. Like we mentioned, email sales@IdahoSports.com, and within 24 hours, your business can be proudly seen on your favorite school's team schedules, rosters, and conference standings. Multi-school discounts are available. So if you live in Potlatch and you're a big fan of Kendrick, you can be a Logger and a Tiger fan. I don't know if that's very likely since they're rivals, but it's possible. And again, email sales@IdahoSports.com to find out how you can become a power booster on IdahoSports.com. Tim, you think that was a good sales pitch? If I was a business, I would want to be a power booster.
I think you knocked it out of the park. I think Mr. Ryan Holden's going to be extremely happy with you.
I sure would be. I'm selling everything we can get up here. We'll resume play here at the 19-yard line. Moscow has a great drive. It's a great drive going. 4 receivers here on the bottom of your screen in a square. And they look for Cheney. They find him. A flag flies. And they're not going to get much out of it. Maybe a holding call on Moscow. Nope. Wrong. Ineligible man downfield. I think they thought 2 guys were on the line of scrimmage. Or like those 2 receivers at the top were on the line of scrimmage and they both went forward. I'm not sure. Or it must not have been a backwards pass. If it's a backwards pass or a screen play, it's, that's doable. But I don't believe on a pass like that. Couldn't be the judge.
There's a lot of Oh, now they're waving it off.
Oh. What do you know?
There was a lot of explaining going on out there. And
Bafis must have talked his way through that one. And nonetheless, it's now, it should be second and medium. We'll see if the chain gang gets figured out here. Second and 4 for the Bears at the 12-yard line. 4:22 remaining in the first half. Kendall motions over to the left side. Looking deep. Back shoulder catch by Ryle Cheney. What a play. 12 yards out to Cheney, a back shoulder, perfect throw by the freshman, and Moscow is on the board and tied up with Grangeville.
Wyatt Cross threw that with a lot of confidence. That was a great throw.
Will they go for 2 or the extra point? That's always a question mark for me. When you're at 6A, that's typically the response. But when you get lower and lower in the classifications, it seems the more they want to go for 2, and that's what the Bears are going to do. Cross, looking across the middle, and can't hang on. Looking for George Stott.
2-point conversion is no
So we are tied at 6 with 4:18 in the second quarter. We'll step aside, be back for this IdahoSports.com Game Streams production.
We're Valley-wide cooperative. For 100 years, we've been your first choice for residential and commercial propane, fuels, oils, and lubricants. We service HVAC, install water heaters, propane tanks, and accessories. And yes, we'll even deliver right where you need it. Because for us, serving is more than a job, it's a way of life. We are proud to employ your neighbors and to be a cornerstone of your community. We're Valleywide. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. We're here for you.
Welcome back here to IdahoSports.com in Moscow for our North Idaho game night. If you just missed it, Wyatt Cross had a 12-yard pass to Ryle Cheney to tie things up at 6 apiece. And with 4:18 left in the first half, Grangeville gets the ball back. It'll be Pooley up the middle and hit hard. Can't get past the 20-yard line.
Led by number 5, Jericho Pike. I'd like to welcome the Pike family out here tonight.
Grangeville starts out at the 18-yard line. Grangeville's drive last time was all because of Hollis Elliott. He scored the touchdown, but he also had a 40-yard run to put them in scoring position. They look deep, and there's a man wide open. He is loose. He is loose down the sideline and finally brought down right at the 20. On the catch, Troy Long got past the defender, and a huge play to flip fields for Grangeville.
Yeah, once again, Sam Drake, he was able to catch him from behind and save what I thought was a sure touchdown.
Now, once again, Grangeville feels like just a few minutes ago they were in the exact same spot, and now at the 21. They look for him again, and this time just low.
That's a complete. Vasquez on the coverage.
If you aren't tuning into other games on Idaho Sports, there are a lot of big games happening right now, and a few of them have wrapped up, or at least close. As the last we had heard, Kendrick was up big against Butte County. As Smith rolls out, working up and slides forward.
Yeah, as you said, I think in the rematch of last year's state title game, Kendrick, I think they came away with the win. Don't quote me, but I believe it was 68-0 over Butte County.
And that's a statement to be made, as you know, the state champion goes and plays the runner-up, and the result is oddly the exact same as the state championship. In other news, with a few minutes left in the fourth quarter, Sandpoint and Twin Falls are tied at 21. And halftime in Rigby, they're up 31-7 against the Coeur d'Alene Vikings. It'll be fourth down and long. Grangeville's kind of stalled out here after the big play from Troy Long. If you're Adams here, Tim, what are you drawing up? Fourth down and 7. Who do you look for?
You know, I think once again, maybe like a screen pass to Hollis Elliott.
I like the call. Elliott's got some wheels on him.
Get some blocking out in front of him.
And a deep pass there, looking down, and it was caught. And a great play on the catch. Colton Heitzman, the junior. There's a flag down, but it looks like it might have been defensive pass interference. A great job breaking away from the defensive back to score a touchdown for Grangeville. Will it stand?
Yep, they called defensive holding. Touchdown Bulldogs.
So a 19-yard throw from Gage Smith to Colin Heitzman. With 2:44, Grangeville scored in a hurry and now back in front with a 6-point lead. Grangeville spreads things out once more on this 2-point conversion. Smith across the middle, wide open. Tate Shoemaker, they get the 2. And the Bulldogs now in front by 8. A quick drive from Grangeville puts them in front. And we are closing in on the first half. 2:44 left. We'll be back in 30 seconds on IdahoSports.com.
Idaho isn't your average state, and we are not your average people. We're not afraid to jump feet first, and we see the world a little differently. We know the importance of slowing down and the value of catching up. When we're not busy getting lost, we're looking out for one another. Our whitewater is aggressive, but our driving is not. We know all about taking chances, but we also know our limits. We drive safely because we care. It's who we are.
We're back here on IdahoSports.com for our Game Streams production of the North Idaho Game Night, as the 3A Bulldogs are ahead of the 4A Bears 14-6 with 2:44 left in the first half, as the visitors are doing quite a good job on offense, keeping it together. Right into Kendall's hands. Works up into the middle and now brought down. A good return for Moscow. They've had great starting field position now at the 41.
On the run for Bears, number 3, Kendall. At this time, I'd like to say thank you to our chain gang.
They did get a final score update. Kendrick beat Butte County for sure, 68-0. Maddox Kirkland, 5 touchdowns in his junior debut. Not a bad start for the 4-time state champs. First and 10 for Cross. Smith, hand up. Great defensive play there by the quarterback. Gets his left paw up there and gets the ball knocked down. Second and long, 2:32 in the first half. Ross looking underneath, right into the hands of Rader. And no avail. As you see there at the bottom of your screen, Austin Mallett. Tim, you brought that up earlier. Now he's in crutches, no shoe on the left foot, has an ice bag there. He might be done for the night.
Yeah, you kind of look down the right side of their sideline here and look at all these injuries and the athletes who they are. And it's unfortunate for this Bears team. You really like to see what they'd be if they were full power here with these athletes. And Mallett showed some really good things right off the bat. You know, like you had mentioned earlier, he was kind of their main targeted receiver.
Third and long now for Wyatt Cross. Drops back, looking deep, has all day. Working out, using all the legs he can, and gets maybe one or two. Now going to be 4th and long. I'm assuming you're going to bring out the punt group. And with 2:20, Grangeville might be in a good spot to score again. So George Stott will kick away. Back deep once again. Now switched up is actually going to be Troy Long. Oh, and it's over the head, way back at the 15. I don't know if Stott was ready for it. And a colossal mistake for Moscow. And we were talking about Grangeville scoring.
This puts them in, 2 minutes left. You got a lot of time on the clock. You can basically punch this in with no time remaining here now. That's very unfortunate for the Bears.
A little miscue, and that was what we were worried about with Grangeville, trying to avoid those errors, and right now it's Moscow. They've had multiple penalties that have put Grangeville in great spots to score. Smith once again in the shotgun. Has pressure, and a lot of it. Breaks the first tackle, and he's not getting past the second.
Finished off by 50, Marzoff.
As Marzoff brings him down, the second guy in to make the play. And that's a rebound if you're a Moscow defense that's reeling.
It's an impressive tackle by him, because it's not like you're just bringing down your average run-of-the-mill quarterback right there.
Not at all. You're bringing down all of 220. .130, Adams with 2 timeouts, letting the clock roll. Smith has time across the middle, and just behind the intended receiver, Tate Shoemaker.
Almost kind of a risky throw there.
Multiple defenders there.
Yeah, a lot of defenders.
Correction.
Third and long now for Grangeville with 1:22. We talked about them scoring quick. Now you just got to get a first down or at least get close.
Make some noise.
And a timeout used by Jeff Adams, a wise one there.
Yeah, that's a good timeout.
And he'll take his time, and so will we. We'll step aside. Another 30-second timeout here on IdahoSports.com. Grangeville with a chance to score.
As Idahoans, we're not afraid to take risks.
All the way, all the way. Good. Go. All the way down, all the way down.
Driving under the influence is not a risk we're willing to take. Be around to do more of what you love.
(14-6) is your score here at Moscow. Grangeville with the lead, 1:22 in this long first half. It feels like Seems like it's gone forever, and a lot of it's because these teams are airing it out. Not a lot of runs. Grangeville's ran the ball maybe a couple times, and had automatic success. And Moscow, the exact same thing. They ran the ball and had good success too. But now 3rd and 14 for Gage Smith of Grangeville, and blown dead. What's it going to be?
False start. This bottom receiver here took off a little early.
That's the signal. Parker Pooley there, or rather Troy Long. Now even further back. This drive started at the 20-yard line and have made no progress. If anything, you're making progress for the Bears. 1:22 here in the first half still. High snap. Smith rolling out. He's going to take it himself. He just rumbles forward, back to the starting point.
I think that was a good decision by him. You didn't have to get all of that right there. Now you kind of get yourself back within a reasonable 4th down for the situation you were just in.
Yeah, this is the spot where you started out 3 downs ago. Now we're going to restart here and see what they come up with. They went to Heitzman on the last drive and Elliott on the first scoring drive. Who do they go here? 4th and long. 37 seconds, clock rolling. Smith underneath, finds Long.
He slipped away.
And he may have got the first down. He definitely did, inside the 5. 28 seconds, clock stops. And a quick timeout called by Jeff Adams. He is excited for his quarterback, Smith. That's a veteran move by a junior quarterback getting his first licks. And now Grangeville inside the 5-yard line. Gage Smith and Troy Long. I think Troy Long might be the more important story on that play. He wouldn't have got the first down, I don't think, on when he first caught the ball.
No, he had to make a move, and he fought for it. It was great athleticism.
If you're Moscow here, Tim, you have 28 seconds. Do you just send an all-out blitz to try to stonewall Grangeville? What do you do? Because you're looking at going into, being down 2 scores at halftime, and Grangeville gets the ball to start out the second half.
I think that's your best bet. Get your DBs up, jam the receivers, and then just send the house. Try to maybe get them on a scramble, burn up some time, get them lose some yards, incomplete pass, something. Anything you can do to keep them out or get a loss here to make it a little bit tougher.
I believe Grangeville is out of timeouts. They say they have one, but I'm not sure. 28 seconds. Smith in the shotgun. Across the middle and behind the receiver. Lucky Jericho Pike didn't get in there and intercept the ball. Luckily, the clock stops. .5 seconds here in the first half. Grangeville on the road with an 8-point lead and looking to go up 2 possessions. Smith looking deep. Oh, deep fade and just out of reach for Parker Pooley.
3rd down.
Two more plays here for Grangeville. Tim, do you try to get closer? Do you go for the score both times? Make sure you have enough time.
I think you got to go. And if the scoreboard's correct, they may have one timeout left.
I had thought Jeff used them all, but I'm not sure.
I'd like to see just something real quick right up the middle here with the quarterback, and then quick timeout if they've got it, if you don't score.
Crowd getting into it for Moscow. Smith rolls out. Finds the receiver underneath and incomplete. It'll be 4th down.
Brings up 4th down.
And one more play for Grangeville. "14 seconds, all the marbles on the play here in this first half. Moscow really stacking the box here. All 10 defenders right in the middle with one split out. And it looks like they're going to go for a quarterback sneak, but a stoppage in play.
That's what you'd think. He hasn't been under center hardly ever. I'm guessing that's what they're going to do.
And a timeout by Rob Bafis. Get his defense lined up, can kind of see what his opponent's going to do, but it sure did look like they were going to go with some sort of tush push or quarterback sneak with the big man.
The other thing I think would work good here, you've got a wide side of the field to your bench. Get Smith out on a bootleg, some kind of a roll, and get him one-on-one with a DB. I'm going to take Smith in that one.
I think I would too. All he's got to get is 2 yards.
Yeah.
And him just leaning forward is going to get him that.
He's 2 yards long.
He definitely is. He's all of 2 yards long. Big play here for the Moscow defense. Looks like a long 2, maybe even close to 3 yards. So I don't know if you could quarterback sneak and get all the way there unless you get a great push by this offensive line. Moscow's got a good front. They'll be under center. One time they did this, they handed it off to Pooley and couldn't get anything. And another false start call on Grangeville. That's a tough one.
Well, and you kind of give away a little bit of a trick play there now. It's exposed, and your defense can be aware of that.
Another final here around the area as Rigby defeats Coeur d'Alene 38-7. Jacob Flowers, the quarterback of Rigby, 2 rushing touchdowns, 2 passing touchdowns, and the state champs continue their winning streak. I believe it extends to 12 now, as they're putting the notice on 6A. But we have a big play here. 4th and goal from the 7-yard line. Quick play. They go to long, and he is short, incomplete.
Bam!
A great defensive play by the Moscow defense to turn Grangeville over on downs and avoid going into half down 2 possessions.
Grangeville, you got to be pretty disappointed in that. You've really got to get a score here and get up, 2 possessions. Moscow, you just bailed yourself out. That's a big stop right there. Give you a little bit more confidence going into halftime.
I'm assuming Moscow will kneel it out and call it a day and head to the locker room. As we mentioned, it would have been a huge opportunity because Grangeville had the ball going into the second half, so you could have gone up 3 possessions.
Yeah, potentially, yep.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Those are going to be things that Jeff Adams is looking back, wishing his group would have converted. I believe they're going to kneel here from the shotgun. Nope, they'll hand off. Kendall puts a move and gets a few extra yards out of it. Clock stops at 4.
On the carry, number 4, Drake.
And it will stop at 4, so one more play here for the Bears.
Gain of 7 brings up 2nd and 3.
If you're Grangeville, if Moscow does decide to air this thing out, you definitely want to be on the side of cautious. But it looks like they'll come out in a relatively similar formation.
I think you'd maybe want a safety a little bit deeper, but
Cross is reading the defense, and he'll take a knee, I believe. And it'll be halftime here at Moscow. We made it. One half of play is in the books as the visiting Grangeville Bulldogs lead 14-6 over Moscow. We'll step aside, take a little bit of a halftime break, and be back for our halftime show on IdahoSports.com.
We're Valley-wide cooperative. For 100 years, we've been your first choice for residential and commercial propane, fuels, oils, and lubricants. We service HVAC, install water heaters, propane tanks, and accessories. And yes, we'll even deliver right where you need it. Because for us, serving is more than a job, it's a way of life. We are proud to employ your neighbors and to be a cornerstone of your community. We're Valley-wide. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. We're here for you.
As Idahoans, we're not afraid to take risks.
All the way, all the way. Go. All the way down, all the way down.
Driving under the influence is not a risk we're willing to take. Be around to do more of what you love.
Vaping sucks you in quick, and the more you vape, the harder it is to quit. Not to mention all the chemicals and health problems. That's why thousands of teens are joining My Life, My Quit. Visit mylifemyquit.com or text Start My Quit to 36072.
Welcome back here to IdahoSports.com, our game streams production. As it's North Idaho game night here in Moscow at Bear Field, as the visiting 3A Grangeville Bulldogs lead 14-6 over the Moscow Bears. As if you missed out, this game has gone a couple directions. You know, Moscow started out with the ball and essentially ran off the entire first half of the first quarter. Ended up with no score. Grangeville drove all the way down the field. They didn't end up with anything. We had a little bit of back and forth. Our first score came at the 6:54 mark where Gage Smith found Hollis Elliott. It was a play where me and Tim had a hard time figuring out if the score had happened. There was a late flag on the play by Moscow. Grangeville led 6-0. Then only 2 minutes later, Wyatt Cross came down the field, had a 12-yard pass to Ryle Cheney. The freshman had his first score of the year. And Grangeville gets the ball back on the ensuing possession. And a great play by Gage Smith found Troy Long wide open over the top of the Moscow defense, had a 50-yard gain, put him inside the 20-yard line. A couple plays later, Smith had a great pass to Colton Heitzman from 19 yards out. 2-point was good, and that's where we stand. 14-6, Grangeville had a great opportunity to score. With a minute left in this game, Moscow was getting ready to punt. With around a minute and a half left, and the snap went way over the head of punter George Stott, put Grangeville at the 20-yard line. Well, they stalled out for multiple plays, ended up in a 1st and 21 point. They ended up getting that first down, getting all the way down to the 2, and then the Bears defense stood once more, and Grangeville came away with nothing. So we're at halftime. Grangeville will get the ball to start the second half. We'll have stats coming up in a little bit. We do want to recognize some other scores around the area, as I believe we have a few finals. If you missed it, Rigby defeated Coeur d'Alene 38-7. Kendrick defeated Butte County 68-0. Sandpoint beat Twin Falls 28-27 in overtime. as Twin Falls was able to score but failed on the 2-point conversion. And I believe Columbia defeated the Lewiston Bengals down in Nampa 24-13 to put a little spoiler on Zane Hobart's first game as a Lewiston Bengal. That will be where we are next week for our North Idaho game night. We'll actually have a doubleheader. We'll have Council and Lakeside in Cottonwood at 1 p.m. on Friday, and then we will have the nightcap. We'll have a doubleheader. We'll have Lewiston and Post Falls in Lewiston. It'll be a good one. We're excited to bring it to you on IdahoSports.com. We'll take a quick break, be back in 30 seconds to bring you a few stats of our first half.
At Valleywide Cooperative, we're here when you need us. For 100 years, we have been here to help you with food, fuel, and good old-fashioned advice. And for us, serving is more than a job, it's a way of life, which is why we pour so much into the communities around us. We've employed hundreds of your neighbors. We take pride in that, and in giving back millions in sponsorships, grants, donations, and scholarships. It's our way of saying thanks. We're Valleywide, and yesterday, today, and tomorrow, we're here for you.
Welcome back here on IdahoSports.com, our North Idaho game night. We want to recognize some of our power boosters for the Grangeville Bulldogs. It'll be Advanced Welding and Steel, Cloningers Marketplace, Cottonwood Community Federal Credit Union, and Syringa Hospital. For Moscow, it's Bearable Dentistry, Hayden Ross Wealth Management and Accounting Services, North Idaho Crushing, Omega Electric, Powell Plumbing, Shorts Funeral Chapel, So Chill Cryotherapy, I'm interested in that one, Strom Electric, and University Auto Sales. If you want to be a power booster, it's super simple. I highly recommend it. Becoming a power booster on IdahoSports.com is a great way for you and our business, in your business, to be seen by tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands of current and potential clients and customers. And the best part, it's 100% tax deductible. So if you're worried about that, that's not an issue. Just email sales@idahosports.com, and within 24 hours, your business can be proudly seen on your school's team's schedule, roster, and conference standing. I would recommend it. It's a great thing to be a part of. It allows us to cover all of these games throughout the year, whether it's this regular season, the North Idaho game night, whether it's, maybe even a district tournament game or a state tournament game. It allows us to be here and cover it live and free all the time on IdahoSports.com. And man, is it a doozy. It's a great one, and we are excited to be a part of it, and more excited to be able to cover Moscow and Grangeville. As we mentioned, 14-6 is your score at halftime. As they're going to be drawing up some stuff, we'll take another break, step aside, and have the stats wrapped up for you and bring them to you here on Idaho Sports.
Idaho isn't your average state, and we are not your average people. We're not afraid to jump feet first, and we see the world a little differently. We know the importance of slowing down and the value of catching up. When we're not busy getting lost, we're looking out for one another. Our whitewater is aggressive, but our driving is not. We know all about taking chances, but we also know our limits. We drive safely because we care. It's who we are.
Welcome back here to IdahoSports.com, our North Idaho game night. It's 14-6, Grangeville with the 8-point lead. Tim, you dialed up the stats, you worked hard, and what do you have to show for it?
Well, let's see here. We a little bit of stuff here. It's once again kind of the first game here. Stats maybe not quite as smooth as what we were hoping for, but we're good to go. Wyatt Cross with Moscow. We've got him down for 141 yards passing, 1 touchdown. So showing some really good things out there. He showed a little bit of moving out of the pocket, but not very many. I think he ended up with just a few yards rushing. Then you've got kind of right now it looked like, here later on between Stott and Cheney. Cheney's got a touchdown and it looks like about 34 yards receiving. And then moving into Grangeville, you've got Gage Smith with 128 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, several rushing yards. And then Hollis Elliott, right now we're missing how many yards he has, but, he had a long one of at least, I think, 40 or 50 yards that got him down within scoring, and then ended up scoring in that touchdown. So he's got 1 touchdown and doing a lot of great things. Defensively, for Grangeville, once again, Hollis Elliott, he's leading the way with 5 solo tackles, 2 assisted. You got Shoemaker in there with 4 tackles. They're kind of leading the way defensively. Kobe Beach also in with 3 tackles. Most were in the first half. He was kind of quiet the second half, or the second quarter, excuse me.
Yeah, we haven't got there yet.
It feels like we should, doesn't it? For Moscow defensively, kind of a balanced defensive attack here. Pike's got 3 tackles. Raiders got 3 tackles. Stott's got 3 tackles. Kendall's got 2 tackles. So kind of a balanced defensive stance there for Moscow.
The thing that you mentioned to me, Tim, that I think this is so interesting. It's a 1 possession game. Both teams are more than capable to win this ball game. And we've seen both teams hardly run the ball at all.
Yep.
And, when I spoke with Rob Bayfus a little earlier today, and, before Wyatt Cross showed up, he was expecting this team to be like 90% run.
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen them hand the ball off to Colton Kendall, I think, twice. And the other time was just because they were trying to end the half. And then Grangeville, same deal. They're a team that's normally pretty run dominant, and Hollis Elliott had a great run, and he's been a very big vocal point of the offense, but hasn't got the ball a lot. Why do you think that is, that Grangeville and Moscow both are just airing it out and not looking at the running game?
I'm not exactly sure. I'm going to throw my best guess out here. I'm thinking somewhere along the lines, both coaches have seen something that thinks that they have the advantage at throwing the ball. So maybe you're looking at maybe a young, inexperienced secondary that you think you can take advantage of. If you're Moscow, you're probably saying we've got a freshman quarterback. We're in a non-league game. Let's throw the ball. Let's see what he can do. Let's get him comfortable. I feel like they're missing the boat just a little bit by not putting the ball in Colton Kendall's hands a little bit more. The few times he's touched it, he's really impressed me. We have a whole other half of football. We might see a whole different story. And then with Grangeville, maybe it's the same thing. Maybe you're looking at what Moscow lost from last year if they've got a young secondary. I know a couple of their DBs are injured on the sidelines. You've got a great quarterback in Gage Smith. So, maybe they're just looking at trying some things. Maybe this is just, hey, what are we going to do this season? What's going to be our identity? We're going to figure it out in a non-league game. But, again, watching Hollis Elliott run the ball, I think you got to get it in his hands. And then, again, get Gage out on the edges and let him go out some of these DBs with the ball in his hand. Let him run it, I think. Personally, that's what I think what I do a little bit, but that's why I'm up here in the booth announcing and not down there coaching either one of these teams.
That's absolutely right. That's why we are broadcasting this game live and free on IdahoSports.com. It will be a good one as we are getting close to, all the other games in Idaho are wrapping up because a lot of the games covered on IdahoSports.com were down in southern Idaho, and we had a lot of good games there. Like we mentioned earlier, Sandpoint came away with a 1-point win in overtime. Kendrick won massive, and Kendrick has a big game next week, I believe.
They're back. They're back down in
Is it Oakley, I believe?
I think they're playing Oakley back down in Homedale.
You're right.
Yep. Kept wanting to say Hagerman, but yeah, they're back in Homedale next week.
I think Kendrick and Sandpoint, those two teams need to just buy some real estate down in that area. Because Sandpoint, I don't know if you know this, Sandpoint was down in Twin Falls this evening. And obviously we all know where Sandpoint is, way up in North Idaho. They're coming all the way back. And then next week they're going down to Teton.
Oh, my gosh.
So they're going further south.
Well, I tell you what, over the last 4 years, I just had my oldest son just graduated from Kendrick. So the last 4 years, a lot of us parents were talking about maybe we just buying a house in southern Idaho somewhere, because we were down there an awful lot during football season.
Makes it fun when you're able to go play these non-conference games, especially when you're able to go down south. That's what I've noticed with a lot of these teams in North Idaho is they want to get experience outside of just the teams in the area or, Montana or Washington. They want to play the teams down in southern Idaho. That's what Coeur d'Alene did, Sandpoint, Lewiston, Kendrick, obviously.
Well, and look at, kind of go even more into the southern part, the southeast Idaho. There's a lot of really good football teams down there at all levels. Everybody's wanting to go play them. It's pretty impressive what they're doing down there.
As for other games on the year, Grangeville will play Timberlake next week at home, and Moscow will play also at home against Caldwell. So it'll be a good game for Moscow as well as the Bulldogs. Grangeville played Timberlake last year on their first game of the year up in Timberlake. I was actually here. I was actually there with Sam, our cameraman, and we covered that game, and Moscow won on the last play of the game on a game winner. It was a crazy game. And that started Grangeville's season off really well. That ended up in, both these teams very similar routes last year. They won their league, and they played in the first round and ended up coming up short against a team from down south. So that's why both these teams are looking to change the tide and take that next step heading into the season. Well, we have a couple minutes left here in halftime, so we're going to take another break, step aside, and be back on IdahoSports.com.
We're Valley-wide cooperative. For 100 years, we've been your first choice for residential and commercial propane, fuels, oils, and lubricants. We service HVAC, install water heaters, propane tanks, and accessories. And yes, we'll even deliver right where you need it. Because for us, serving is more than a job, it's a way of life. We are proud to employ your neighbors and to be a cornerstone of your community. We're Valley-wide. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. We're here for you.
As Idahoans, we're not afraid to take risks.
All the way. Go. All the way down.
Driving under the influence is not a risk we're willing to take. Be around to do more of what you love.
Vaping sucks you in quick, and the more you vape, the harder it is to quit. Not to mention all the chemicals and health problems. That's why thousands of teens are joining My Life, My Quit. Visit mylifemyquit.com or text Start My Quit to 36072.
Welcome back here to IdahoSports.com, our game streams production for North Idaho game night, as we are getting ready to kick off this second half. And Tim, I wanted to ask you this real quick before we start. What is the big adjustment you think for both of these teams heading into this third quarter?
I think you got to look at probably finishing. I think both groups just offensively didn't finish terribly well. Defensively, I actually thought Grangeville's defense did a pretty solid job. Moscow's did for the most part. They just let a couple of big plays slip away, but I think the biggest thing is just continue to get your athletes the ball, but try to finish. Be a little bit more consistent. Those third and shorts or opportunities to punch in the end zone, you just got to finish them.
I think that's a great description of how this game hopefully goes. Moscow kicking off. Back deep will be Parker Pooley of Grangeville, picks it up at the 5. Lots of room. He has to get going, and he goes nowhere down at the 14.
Grangeville takes over at the 15-yard line.
See how Moscow will work out. If you missed any bit of the game in the pregame, you would know Moscow has quite a few injuries right now. There's multiple dudes right now down in crutches. Had a couple ACL tears throughout the summer. Austin Mallett got hurt in this ball game. Don't think he's going to play. Keaton Fry actually was nominated for Gatorade Player of the Year. There's a good chance he will play this year, so that's going to be great for Moscow heading into the chunk of the season.
Yeah, it sounded like he's been getting some really limited practice reps, and they're hopeful maybe they'll get him back. He couldn't really give a timeline.
And Keaton Fry is a special athlete. I mean, as a sophomore, he was the MVP of this league between Bonners Ferry, Moscow, and Timberlake. Just a really talented kid that when he touches the ball, there is no doubt he has an opportunity to score. New look for the Moscow defense. Everybody stacked up. The linebackers drop out. They get to Elliott. Elliott breaks another tackle. Has a first down and more. He is loose. And brought down just past the 50-yard line. Hollis Elliott made something out of nothing. And a huge gain for Hollis. Hollis Elliott just gets past every Moscow Bear, and once again, just inches away from breaking another one. But a flag is down. And it's going to come back.
Right on the play, brings it back.
Yeah.
All for nothing.
Yeah, those are killers. Those just deflate you.
Those are the backbreakers that really kill the energy. And on the flip side, that's something that gives the team so much momentum to know that you just gave up a 40-yard play, and instead you're back in the exact same spot with an opportunity to redeem yourself. It'll be 2nd and 7, as Elliott did get the first down. It's not going to be, 2nd and 20. They do the math and put them at 2nd and, medium. Smith, quick screen on the way. Gets it to Shoemaker. And brought down short of the first down marker.
Made by a host of Bears.
It'll be 3rd and short for Grangeville on this opening drive in the 3rd quarter. Out wide is Troy Long and Parker Pooley. Moscow showing pressure with the linebackers. Smith checks the play. They look for a hitch. They find Will Told. Once again, Tim, I think that hook and ladder was there.
It was kind of set up again, wasn't it?
I'm telling you, one of these times, Adams might pull it out. 4th and short. Grangeville's going to go for it. This is a big one. You're not even at the 30-yard line. Huge play for both teams. Smith calling audibles at the line of scrimmage. Underneath, they find the receiver. Will Told moves the chains. A great play by Gage Smith. I tell you what, when I said he was cerebral, I didn't know he was this cerebral. He is able to check the plays at the line of scrimmage, change the play, and get past this Moscow defense for another first down. 9:45 in the third. Grangeville is driving. Smith looking deep, has a man, back shoulder throw just off of Tate Shoemaker.
Oh, kind of going back to, you brought up the injuries again, and the loss of Keaton Fry, and I know one other one, Mason Helbling, they were really looking forward to him, and I happen to know his dad pretty well, and I talked with him, and he said Mason's he loves football, he's worked so hard at this, and he's just absolutely killing him that he's having to watch from the sidelines.
Absolutely. He's a sophomore who got, quality reps last year as a freshman. A quarterback draw. Smith going right through Bears. Advances the chains. I don't know if Jeff Adams realized what kind of weapon Smith was running the ball. But he's done this multiple times now in this game where he's taken off and just ran right through some Moscow players. Moscow brings heat. Across the middle is Told. And hit hard. Told bounces up quick. Moscow defender still on the ground.
I can't quite see a number yet on that Moscow defender.
Medical staff coming up. He bounces up real quick. That's number 4. I believe that's Sam Drake.
On that tackle was 4, Drake.
Bounces up, looks to be okay. He'll step out for a few plays. Good to see everybody's all right because that was a bang play.
Once again, reminder, girls soccer tomorrow, 11 o'clock versus Columbia. Also, don't forget, school starts Wednesday.
Second and short for Grangeville, just at midfield. 9 minutes here in the third quarter. Quick screen. Oh, and almost picked off. A great defense. No, they're going to say it was. A great defensive play, no doubt. Moscow with the interception.
I think that was Mayberry that came up with it.
You are right. There is a flag on the play in the secondary. And the officials having a discussion. I thought that ball bounced off Mayberry's chest.
Yeah, I thought he just broke it up. I almost even said, what a great play to break up the pass.
And it is after the play. An unsportsmanlike penalty on both teams. But the Bears take over. The drive that could have been for Smith. And shut down. A great defensive play by the defensive back of the Bears. I think you are right. Sean Mayberry with the interception. That's a play that can flip an entire game. So now Wyatt Cross, the freshman, gets his first crack in the second half. And in no better field position than on Grangeville's own 50. Cross hands it off Kendall. We've been waiting for this. Up the middle, powering through.
I like it.
11 yards the old-fashioned way. Colton Kendall.
That was number 3, Kendall.
Maybe they listened to our advice, Tim. Who knows? Get the ball in Colton Kendall and Hollis Elliott's hands for Grangeville. You might have success. Clock's ticking, 8:15 in the third quarter. And Cross with a beautiful cadence draws off Grangeville.
Hard count decoration by Cross.
Gage Smith comes back onto the field. Took a little breather for the interception. He's been playing both ways consistently this entire game. First and 5 for the Bears. One more to Kendall, patient, and falls forward.
On the carry, 3, Kendall. Gain of 4 brings up 2nd and 1.
Substitution for Moscow, moving some guys around as Sam Drake comes in for Derek Rader. Second and short for the Bears halfway through this third quarter. The drive started at the 48 from an interception from Sean Mayberry. 3 in a row to Kendall. Has space. And powers once more to the 16.
And that's good for one more Bear.
3 straight handoffs to Colton Kendall. The transfer from Pullman. Inside the red zone, the Bears now with the 4th consecutive play in the exact same formation, more of a heavy look. Forward pass, it's to Stott. Can he get to the edge? And up past the first down.
Stott on the shovel pass. Gain of 9.
And just short is Stott, but a great play and great play calling by the offensive coordinator, TJ Lewis. Cross takes the snap. Kendall once more. This might be the first time we've seen Colton Kendall not get 5-6 yards plus.
Gain of 2.
Shoemaker on the tackle there. The junior linebacker.
There's the gain of 2. And one more there.
Yeah, a much different look offensively for the Bears here. It's working. It's working well.
Inside the 10, Kendall one more. Has space to the sideline. Dragged down but reaches forward. And he's in for the touchdown from 7 yards out. Colton Kendall in his Bear debut with a score. A strong run there by the junior. Moscow goes for 2 here. Sam Drake in the backfield now. Low snap, looking outside, finds the receiver, and brought in by Ryle Cheney, and we are tied up at 14 apiece. Great response from Moscow after the interception, and now are tied at 14. We'll step aside, take a break, and be back in 30 seconds on this IdahoSports.com Game Streams production.
Valley Wide Cooperative. For 100 years, we've been your first choice for residential and commercial propane, fuels, oils, and lubricants. We service HVAC, install water heaters, propane tanks, and accessories. And yes, we'll even deliver right where you need it. Because for us, serving is more than a job, it's a way of life. We are proud to employ your neighbors and to be a cornerstone of your community. We're Valley-wide. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. We're here for you.
Welcome back to IdahoSports.com, our Game Streams production, our North Idaho game night. Tim, you know, all of this game is possible because of our great power boosters. Would you mind reading off a few of them?
Yeah, the Moscow Bears would sure like to thank Power Boosters Bearable Dentistry, Hayden Ross Wealth Management and Accounting Services, North Idaho Crushing, Omega Electric, Powell Plumbing, Shorts Funeral Chapel, So Chill Cryotherapy, Strom Electric, and University Auto Sales.
Kickoffs away and brought down by Pooley. And at the 30, Grangeville starts their drive. Last time it ended in an interception by Moscow. Sean Mayberry stepped in at the 50-yard line. And a few plays later, Colton Kendall paid off with a touchdown.
Well, Kendall showed kind of a variety of running there. He showed some real good, just power runs, getting 10 yards, 4 yards, 2 yards, and then kind of takes a little contact at the line, bounces out, stiff arm, does an athletic move, stays on his feet, gets a touchdown. That's kind of got the whole package there, I think.
I could see why Coach Bafus was really excited about this kid coming over. Smith, low snap, finds Elliott. Somehow hands on his feet, yeah. Got popped, lost the ball, got it back, and gained 3. Hollis Elliott, Hollis Elliott didn't get any reps last year at varsity. And mainly it was because Grangeville had such good running backs like Cooper Poxleitner and Terry Ike, so he didn't play at all. And he was just a kid that was tearing it up on the JV level. And now as a sophomore, finally getting an opportunity, and he's showing why he belongs. Smith looking deep, has a man wide open. Tate Shoemaker down the sideline, gets past the Bears, and he's in.
First down, Grangeville, 17, Shoemaker.
A 67-yard touchdown pass from Gage Smith to Tate Shoemaker. And just like that, Grangeville back in front.
Oh, what a great answer by Grangeville. That, you get a drive that Moscow had, kind of the ball just shoved down you, and then you just come back and you do that. That shows a lot of grit.
It sure does. Is a team that just threw an interception. Smith may be wary about throwing that ball. Nah, he's just going to air it out. Under center, Smith goes for the 2-point. Hands it underneath to Elliott, and he's going to be stood up. So Grangeville comes away with 6 and regains the lead. It's 20-14 with 4:25 here in the third quarter. We'll take a break and be back here on IdahoSports.com in 30 seconds.
Idaho isn't your average state, and we are not your average people. We're not afraid to jump feet first, and we see the world a little differently. We know the importance of slowing down and the value of catching up. When we're not busy getting lost, we're looking out for one another. Our whitewater is aggressive, but our driving is not. We know all about taking chances, but we also know our limits. We drive safely because we care. It's who we are.
We're back here on IdahoSports.com, our North Idaho game night. If you missed it, you want a little recap of how this game has gone. Grangeville striked first and on a 4-yard pass from Gage Smith to Hollis Elliott. Moscow responded with Wyatt Cross's first touchdown pass to Ryle Cheney. Then late in the second quarter, Gage Smith had a 19-yard pass to Colton Heitzman. And then just a few minutes ago, Colton Kendall scored his first touchdown as a Bear. And seconds later, Tate Shoemaker scored on a 67-yard strike from Gage Smith for his third touchdown pass of the game.
Nice recovery by the Bears. 81.
If you're Moscow, I think you're going to continue doing what you're doing. And, you know, you're only down 1 score. I think you just keep staying with Colton Kendall. It's working.
Well, and here's the disadvantage to scoring in 2 plays when you only have 15 players on a roster. Your defense just didn't get a very big break.
No,
and Moscow kind of wore them down the last drive, so maybe look at Moscow to take advantage of that.
And a flag on the play for Moscow.
They got a illegal substitution, I believe.
Maximum 5 yards, not the way you wanted to start off that drive. Yeah, Grangeville gave Moscow exceptional field position this entire game. Starting out at the 30-yard at a minimum. They stay with the same formation that worked for them early. It's this heavy formation with 2 tight ends to the right and 2 running backs in the backfield. They go to Kendall. And back to the original line of scrimmage he goes. And a late flag comes in, and it might be on the big man getting a late last-second shove. And you talk about big man, I mean,
real big.
Not an exaggeration. Frankie Owens, 6'8", 285. And that is the call on the big man. Just a little late there after the whistle blew, trying to get a last block on one of the smaller guys on the field, Troy Long. And so right after the gain from Colton Kendall, they're going to go right back to where they were.
Fourth down. Time to take out your 50-50 raffle tickets.
2nd and 10 for the Bears.
$5. Once again, take them on out. Don't forget my 10% commission.
This time a new formation, both running backs on the near side of Wyatt Cross. Moscow's ran this formation in the past. Cross looking deep, has a guy. Brought down by Derek Rader. No, rather Jericho Pike. He gets in on the action.
Rader. And that's one more correction.
Jericho Pike gets his first catch of the afternoon, of the evening. And a first down for Moscow. Coming off the field is George Stott limping around. We'll see how he does. If he can get back on the field, they're going to need him. First and 10, 3:15 in the third quarter. Kendall once more stumbles a bit.
On the carry is Kendall. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for. The ticket holder that is holding 4088.
I always love high school sports, Tim, because they have ticket raffles.
Yes, they do.
And you have an opportunity to win.
You're the winner of $205.
$205. One time I was calling a game in Cottonwood, and I randomly gave a few seniors some money to get into the tickets, and I came back at like the third quarter, and I had a pile of money sitting on my table. And I didn't realize I had won, and I did. And I was like, wow, this is beneficial. So as always, contribute to your school. Up the middle, a new sense of speed. Sam Drake gets the first down.
That's good for one more.
Moscow's offensive line's really starting to wear on this Grangeville defense.
Yeah.
The sense of depth that we talked about might be becoming a real factor on the sideline for Grangeville. You can just see it. There's maybe 7 dudes.
Mm-hmm.
And just a lot more depth for Moscow to go around with. 1st and 10 inside the 25. Just under 2 minutes now in the third. Drake wrapped up here by Gage Smith.
Once again, ticket number 408815. I've got money waiting for you. If you don't claim it in the next 5 minutes, I'll pull another number.
Grangeville kind of seeing a two-headed monster at the running attack here from Moscow. It's pretty interesting. 2 completely different kind of runners, too.
Yeah, you have a guy that's 210, and you have another guy that's like 160, 170. It's going to be a run by Cross and slides down. I think that was the right play. It looked like an RPO, and he realized once he pulled it from Kendall that he didn't have any options and smartly slid behind the line of scrimmage. Even though you lost a few, you don't want to take that arid hit. We're under a minute here in the third quarter. Moscow looking to try to tie this thing up or even take the lead. First time in a long time we've seen Moscow spread it out. Clock's ticking under 30 seconds. 3rd and long. They look out to Rader, I believe. And he's going to come up short of the marker. And that might be the end of the third quarter unless they hurry up and get a playoff.
Brings up 4th and 7.
Big play here, Tim. If I'm Moscow, I think I let it go to the end of the quarter instead of rushing to get this last playoff.
Yeah, I would agree with you.
And that's going to happen whether they like it or not. That'll be the third quarter here in Moscow, as our North Idaho game night is a good one. Grangeville leads Moscow 20-14. We'll step aside, come back in 30 seconds on IdahoSports.com.
As Idahoans, we're not afraid to take risks.
All the way, all the way. Go. All the way down, all the way down.
Driving under the influence is not a risk we're willing to take. Be around to do more of what you love.
We're back here on IdahoSports.com for our game streams production of the North Idaho game night. Hayden Uhlencott here and Tim Soflo. If you haven't noticed the guys talking for the last 2.5 hours, that's who we are. And as we're getting a good taste of this Grangeville-Moscow football game after 3 quarters of play, Tim, I mean, this fourth quarter is bound to be a good one.
Yeah, I think so. The first half was kind of, well, we talked about it. It was a little bit slow. Now it kind of looks like both teams went into halftime, regrouped. Third quarter was a lot more exciting, went by quick. Guys are finding their grooves, and I think we're in for a heck of a game here. It's going to come right down to the end.
Well, that's always exciting for the first game of the year. You got to get close games at some point. You know, Tim, you don't get to experience a lot of those up in Kendrick.
No, not very often. Not very often.
That's why we got to get these nice 11-man games, get some low-scoring affairs. And some teams like Moscow and Grangeville facing off. It'll be cross, 4th and 6. It's a big play here in Grangeville territory. Near side of the field, it's caught by the receiver, Ryle Cheney, and looks just past the first down marker. And I don't know what the decision is here. Looks close. Grangeville saying no, he's short. Moscow saying I made it. And it's on the opposite side of the chain, so you're going to have to run those chains all the way across to the other field if you decide to do it.
Need some of that new technology the NFL's rolling out.
Yeah, no chains. And I am intrigued here. I believe it was 4th down before we started, but I noticed the man running the stick said it was 3rd down and then switched it to 4th. So I don't think I was mistaken, but I think they're going to bring the chains out all the way to the other side of the field.
This is the moment the chain gang always waits for right here. Their one moment of glory.
Is it a moment you look forward to, as experienced as you are?
Oh, yeah. No, you always look forward to a measurement.
As a chain gang member, are you ever biased towards one of the teams that are playing, and you're hoping you leave it short, or you?
So I'm a backup member. I'm a reliever. I'm a reliever if a dad can't make it, or somebody calls in sick. So I don't have a lot of action, or if they bring me in as the extra guy at a playoff game, I'm just the clip guy. So
that's a good spot. No one has any. There's no pressure.
I have no pressure. Yeah, no pressure.
From this margin, it looks about a full yard short, and it'll be Grangeville's football. So now the chain gang has to take the lonely walk back to the other side. And Grangeville takes over with the ball. If they could score this one, they'd be in a really good spot to shut the door. Moscow, though, in no position of losing this ball game. Grangeville comes out under center. They've ran these during two-point conversions, and it hasn't worked out. Smith rolls out. Looking across the middle, finds Will Told. And tumbles forward to the 35. Gage Smith does a great job of rolling to his left or his right and being able to set his feet and make a great throw to his receiver. And I also like the philosophy of Jeff Adams, too. Some teams may be up a score in the fourth quarter. You decide to take your time, run the ball. He's deciding to take a shot.
Take a shot at it, yeah.
This time up the middle. And nothing there as the Moscow interior defense cleans it up.
They get 2nd and 9 at the 35.
Still looking to get the play call in from Coach Adams. As Jeff is the offensive coordinator. He'll be the I don't know if he's necessarily the offensive coordinator, but he is the play caller. He is the one calling the shots every single play. They hand it off, a little bit of trickery. Far side. As that one results in a big play for a first down. Colton Heitzman, I believe.
And up to number 1, Heitzman.
And that was a play just looking for problems with 3 different players and going in different directions, a kind of a version of the wing T offense.
Well, and it actually really worked well. Moscow came with a blitz, and the linebacker blitzed and got some good penetration, and he ran right by the ball carrier.
Grangeville's got to get good at the wing tee someday, as all the teams down south, that's all they run at the 3A level. Smith, pressured, brought down. It's the first time I think we've seen Gage Smith be hesitant.
Yeah.
Huge sack. Makes it 2nd and 13.
Jack Johnson, the senior defensive lineman, with the big sack on Gage Smith. He had Gavin Blewett open in the flats. Couldn't get it to him in time, and now 2nd and long. Smith rolling out. Back foot throw, finds a man. It's Troy Long. Dragged out of bounds at the 6. That is a hard throw from a quarterback that's a righty, rolling to his left off his back foot to the open receiver over top of the defense. I think if anybody's watching this game right now, your takeaway is this Gage Smith kid, he can throw the ball. 9:15 Grangeville, storming down the field, trying to move up 2 scores. They find Pooley underneath. And he moves it to the 5.
And up stopped by a host of Bears. Remains 2nd and 5 at the 5.
.8:30 in the 4th quarter. 2nd and goal from the 6 for the Bulldogs. Elliott right behind Smith.
Oh, movement.
And a false start on Grangeville, just the exact opposite of what you're looking for.
False start on the offense.
It's the second time we've seen Grangeville struggle with that.
I think, again, they were going for I think they were going to go quarterback sneak, it looked like, and offensive line's getting a little bit antsy to go. And
well, yeah, you got this 230-pound quarterback behind you. You don't want to be the one ran over by him.
Well, I like the call. I was really hoping you see him on the 5-yard line. Give it to your big guy at quarterback and let him just run. Go get a touchdown right there.
Nonetheless, now you're at the 10, and Smith is going to have to work out of the shotgun. With a 6-point lead, time's dwindling. Just about at the halfway point. Smith finds the receiver. Elliott. Hit down. Mayberry with another big tackle there. Had an interception just to start off the 3rd quarter. Now with a big play, it's 4th and it's 3rd down, rather.
3rd and about 9.
I would say so. Smith under center. They look for Shoemaker. The little tight end reverse. And he gets inside the 5.
Penalty on the play.
But another penalty comes out. And another false start on the Bulldogs.
And that's a penalty against the Bulldogs.
You know, in the first half, Tim, it was Moscow that had all these mistakes. It was the, roughing the passer, the holding on the defense. It was the false starts. In this second half, it's been predominantly Grangeville.
Yeah, they've just really hurt themselves, honestly. And when they get with them in scoring position is when they kind of seem to falter just a little bit.
At the 14-yard line, big play here for Gage Smith and the Bulldogs. Looking left, looking back right, steps up, throws it into the dirt, and do they say it's caught? They do. The NFL replay may disagree with that call, but it's down at the 6 now. Great job by Tate Shoemaker to come in and get his hands underneath the ball.
Short of the goal line. On your feet, Bears fans. It's fourth down.
It's 4th and goal from the 6-yard line for Grangeville. A score puts Moscow in a real tough spot with 6:20 here in the 4th. A stop puts the Bears in a really good spot to win the ball game. They'll have to go the full length of the field if they can get this stop. Smith will take it himself up the middle and comes up short.
He is short. Touchdown down it. Bears football.
A player down for the Bears. But a huge play by Moscow's defense to stand Grangeville up.
I don't necessarily disagree with that call. You got a big quarterback like that. He's a good runner. And then, like you'd mentioned, you don't get it, you just pin Moscow way back, make a long drive out of it. They've got 6 minutes, a lot of time, but
it's hard to go, 95 yards to score. Still have not figured out the number for who is down. One of the offensive linemen making his way stands up. Yeah, if you're Moscow, you're hoping for anything but, an injury that could hurt your team right now.
Sometimes you see these teams that you kind of catch that injury bug, and you just feel so bad for them. I mean, you just can't do anything about it. And
I believe it's Jack Johnson. I believe that's who it is. I'll get a better ID here in a second. But now Moscow has an opportunity to go 95 yards. It is Jack Johnson who was the player down on the field, makes his way to his feet, meets with the athletic trainers. And now a big moment for the freshman. They hand it off to George Stott. And loses yards, loses 2.
Keeper by Cross.
No, if you're a center, this is the worst spot in the world to be. I just don't feel comfortable, if you have to go into shotgun and you have all the pressure in the world, if you send a high snap, it's over.
Mm-hmm. And you have to expect that, as that center, they're going to be sending pressure at you. I mean, there's so many things going through your mind right now.
Moscow keeps everything tight, rightfully so. .5-10 and a flag called way back in the secondary and a delay of game. So now it's half the distance from the goal. That's going to back you up to the 1. Now that's
called on the Bears.
A miscue from a freshman quarterback that's just not used to being in that spot. The 1-yard line, their own 1-yard line, having to go 99 yards to score. 5 minutes left. Wyatt Cross is in the shotgun. Steps back, looking deep. Has a man over the shoulder. Beautiful catch by Ryle Cheney. And an even better catch by better throw by the freshman.
Yes, that was. The freshmen don't make those kind of throws out of their own end zone like that. That was great.
A
redshirt freshman was the term that Rod Bayfus said. You know, he's a guy that's been in the locker room. He knows the big moments, and now up to the 24, clock's ticking. Under 5 minutes. Handoff to Kendall, lost his footing, and he's going to be brought down in the backfield by Smith. A great play by the junior. And a late flag comes in again from the secondary.
So, been a lot of those.
Was a loss on the play.
Yeah, what's the call going to be here? Looks like they're... No decision made yet. We've seen multiple unsportsmanlike conducts.
Most of them have been offsetting as well.
Yeah, it's not one guy.
A couple of guys shoving each other around, a little extracurricular. Now they're waving it off.
So it's 2nd and 10 after the loss of gain there for Colton Kendall.
Gage Smith made that tackle, and that's a nice little matchup right there between Kendall and Smith going at each other.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of big bodies.
Second and 11 for Wyatt Cross. 4:20 in the fourth quarter of his Moscow Bear debut. And draws his own teammates offsides. The big man, Frankie Owen, jumps and brings Moscow back 5 more yards. Second and 16, under 4 minutes. Cross. Across the middle. Finds Stott. And kicked down by Kobe Beach.
Thrown by Wyatt Cross.
Third and medium. 3:30, clock still moving. Low snap. Cross. Can't find a man over the head of Jericho Pike.
The intended receiver was George Stott.
The benefit there for Moscow is the clock stops.
That's something I like to see. Freshman quarterback going up to his receiver and telling him, hey, I think you did something wrong there. You didn't run the right route or something. He marched right up there. He walked about 7 yards and got right to him and coached him up. It's impressive out of a freshman.
A whole season and 3 years to come for Wyatt Cross. Big moment, 4th down and 5. Finds the receiver, George Stott once again. Brought back to the first down marker, but that'll move the chains.
Pass from Wyatt Cross to George Stott.
Stott's been there multiple times now.
Mm-hmm.
And another injury for Moscow. And I believe Jack Johnson, who was injured earlier, he's still out right now. This looks to be George Stott. He walks to his feet. He's been banged up in this game already. Favoring that right ankle. But has made big plays in this ball game countless times. And with 3:15 in this ball game,
at their own 38-yard line.
Moscow has moved the field. You know, they started this drive at their own 1-yard line and have now made some progress.
Stott was a big part of that. He's been a pretty big target for Cross here.
Who does he go to now? That's the question. Doesn't have Austin Mallet either. He was injured in the first quarter. Cross steps up, had pressure just behind the receiver, Derek Rader.
Pass is incomplete.
It looked to me like Kobe Beach, if he had his head turned around just a half a second sooner, he might have picked that off. That ball zipped right by him.
38-yard line.
Kobe Beach, versatile player. Plays running back, plays offensive line, plays linebacker, receiver. The only senior on the roster for this Grangeville team. Second and 10, 2:59 in the ball game. Cross, pump fakes, has guys running after him, and Smith brings him down along with Will Told. And a timeout will be taken, I believe,
A sack.
by Rob Bafis, his first of the half. And with 2:47 left in the ball game, Moscow has a 3rd and long. We'll step aside, take a quick break, be back here in 30 seconds on IdahoSports.com.
We're Valley-wide cooperative. For 100 years, we've been your first choice for residential and commercial propane, fuels, oils, and lubricants. We service HVAC, install water heaters, propane tanks, and accessories. And yes, we'll even deliver right where you need it. Because for us, serving is more than a job, it's a way of life. We are proud to employ your neighbors and to be a cornerstone of your community. We're Valley-wide. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. We're here for you.
Welcome back here to IdahoSports.com. It's a tight ball game, Tim, but we've been here all because of these power boosters. Can we name a few off?
Yeah, Moscow Bears, Power Boosters, Bearable Dentistry, Hayden Ross, Wealth Management and Accounting Services, North Idaho Crushing, Omega Electric, Powell Plumbing. We'll get to the rest after this play.
It's a good idea. 3rd and long. It's a big one for the Bears. Cross, all day to throw. Across the middle, finds a man at the original marker. A good gain, but it will not be quite enough, as that was Curtis Carr, the 6'5 junior. Now here's the play of the game. It's 4th and 11. There's 2:25 in the ball game. I think we might have to hold off on these sponsors a little bit longer.
I don't think they'll care.
I think they'll take this ball game over it. Kendall, one last play. Has all day to throw. Across the middle. Finds the receiver, but it's incomplete. Brody Minray, the middle linebacker, right there to break up the play. And Grangeville takes over. Moscow has 2 timeouts, and they trail by 6.
A turnover on downs. Bulldogs have the ball, 1st and 10 at the 38-yard line.
A great play. I mean, I don't know if it's considered a great play, but a really good play by Wyatt Cross. You know, he stood in the pocket all day, looked through all of his reads, found the right receiver, and just a couple more Grangeville Bulldogs stepped in.
Yeah, I don't take anything away from Wyatt Cross on that play. I didn't look like he panicked. Like you said, he stood in there. He went through his progressions. Great play. It just didn't work out for him in the end. He'll have more of those.
And the game's still not over. There's 2 minutes left and 2 timeouts for Moscow. Grangeville looking to throw. This helps out the Bears. And Smith tackled at the line of scrimmage.
Quarterback keeper.
And a timeout called by Bafis, a heads-up play there to stop the clock. And there is 100% still life. You know, you get another stop here in the next few seconds. You run 30, 45 seconds off the play clock for 3rd down. You know, you're still looking at a minute left when you get the ball back.
Yeah. No, this isn't over yet.
Not quite yet. Some of our sponsors for Grangeville rather, is Advanced Welding and Steel, Cloninger's Marketplace, Cottonwood Community Federal Credit Union, and Syringa Hospital. Always great companies that are supporting the Grangeville Bulldog athletics.
I'm going to finish up those Moscow Bear Power boosters as well. I think I left off with Powell Plumbing, but after that we've got Shorts Funeral Chapel, So Chill Cryotherapy, Strom Electric, University Auto Sales.
Wouldn't be able to do it without any of these great power boosters that, allow us to be able to come to all of these games in North Idaho and cover high school athletics. As it's 2nd and 9 for Grangeville. The road team looking to steal a win. The last time these two teams played was back in 2019. Moscow won that game 41-0. Grangeville looking to turn the tide. They're going to power forward on a quarterback sneak with Gage Smith. And it doesn't look like they got a whole lot out of it.
Quarterback keeper, gain of 4.
And another timeout taken by Rob Bafus. That'll be his last time out of the game. It's third and 4. Grangeville, I might just run the ball with Smith one more time.
Yeah.
Moscow looks to be bringing in the big man, Frankie Owen, the 6'8", 285-pound sophomore, for a little more bulk in the middle. This IdahoSports.com game stream is always live and free. If you have friends or family anywhere in the world that can't be there in person, give them a call and tell them to watch IdahoSports.com and tune in any game that is streaming. A first down for this game ends it. And a stop makes this a little more interesting. Smith under center. Hands it off to Shoemaker on the reverse. He has room, and he takes it in for a touchdown to cap the night off for the Bulldogs. A 32-yard score for Tate Shoemaker. I'll be honest, that was not what I was expecting coming out of that play.
Nope, not at all. They've actually ran that play 3 or 4 times here in the fourth quarter, and it's worked well for them every time.
A 36-yard score for Tate Shoemaker, his second touchdown of the game. Smith rolling left. Has room, loses the ball, and that might be a not top 10 play on Sports Center later this evening.
And another late flag. Yeah, Schumacher, he's kind of came to life here in the last quarter. He's been an integral part of this here.
So if you're Moscow, you try to score as quick as you can, then kick the onside if you get the opportunity to put it in the end zone. So Cross will get another crack at it. But I don't know his receiving corps status right now, who's actually in the game and who is not.
I haven't seen Stott. If is he back on the field? I can't find him here. Oh no, he's standing on he looks like he's up and ready to go on the sideline.
No good, 2-point conversion. With 1:38
So
left.
Grangeville, a minute 38 from getting their first win of the year, and punching up in their weight class and maybe knocking off Moscow.
Well, and that penalty on Moscow, now Grangeville's going to be able to kind of pin them deep here again. But
this is where you would love to have a good kicker. Somebody that can just pinpoint it.
Yeah.
It's the second time we've seen Grangeville kick off on Moscow's own 45. See what Gavin Blewett has up his sleeve. Right up the middle. Into the hands of Cheney, and he has space. Patiently to the 39. And if you're Coach Jeff Adams, that's not what you were looking for.
No, not at all.
Kickoff return by number 32, Ryle Cheney.
Cheney puts Moscow in a spot to at least threaten Grangeville.
40-yard line.
I think if you're Grangeville's defense here, you've got to keep everything underneath you. Even if you give up some, 5-yard passes, just don't let anything. They're going to try to score quick. Just don't get anything over the top. Make them burn some time.
Three receivers at the top of your screen, one down low. That's Curtis Carr. Sam Drake in the backfield with Wyatt Cross. They find Cheney, and he's tackled inbounds. Clock's going to keep moving. How much do you think Moscow's already prepped for that, 2-minute drill?
You kind of want to maybe think they haven't done a lot of it yet. If they're, who knows?
We're under a minute here, and it's a 2nd and 6 from the 46. Cross finds a guy. It's Cheney once more. He gets the first down, and the clock's going to stop for a second, but you got to hustle to the line.
That is a completion for Moscow, and that's one more Bear.
Clock's moving now. Moscow's got to go. Hit as he throws and puts an indent on the game as a good play there by the Grangeville defender. Gavin Blewett, I believe.
47-yard line.
Comes in there at the perfect time to mess up the throw. 33 seconds. 2nd and 10 for Wyatt Cross in Moscow. Cross steps up. Across the middle. Finds his man, George Stott. He's had a day.
Pass complete. Wyatt Cross to number 16, George Stott. And that's one more. Bear!
And Moscow's got to move. Great play there by Cross to check down. 19 seconds. It'd be a miracle, but we've seen them before. Got to start taking some shots here in the next play or two. 20, 30, 29 yards out. Cross finalizing the play call. Looks to his left, looking deep. Steps up as Gage Smith is there. And an incomplete pass.
Called incomplete.
Gage Smith has been everywhere tonight.
Yeah, it's kind of fitting for him to knock that loose out of his hand right there.
Has a couple sacks, has 2 touchdown passes. I don't want to say he's our IdahoSports.com player of the game, but it might be a little foreshadowing. 13 seconds left in the ball game. Moscow down 12. 3rd and 10. Cross looking left. Finds a guy. This time Jericho Pike gets the first. 6 seconds left. And one more spike gives them 4 seconds. So you get one more shot at the end zone. Add a little pad to your stats, make it a little closer. But a win for Grangeville seems inevitable.
Yeah,
And this last play is a spike. It is now 2nd down and 10. At the 17-yard line.
Last play of the game here for Moscow. Cross. Across the middle with a dart. Finds Ryle Cheney with a touchdown. A great play by Wyatt Cross to step in, take the contact, get the touchdown from 19 yards out.
Touchdown Bears.
Gives them a touchdown. It won't be enough. But a great play by Wyatt Cross and Ryle Cheney.
That is the ball game. The final score of this one is 26-20.
As Grangeville defeats Moscow 26-20. And win their first game of the year in the 2025 season opener. Moscow, with great effort, comes up short. And we'll have lots to improve on, lots to be happy about, and look forward to this coming season. We'll take a break, step aside, and be back for our IdahoSports.com player of the game and wrap this ball game up.
We're Valley-wide cooperative. For 100 years, we've been your first choice for residential and commercial propane, fuels, oils, and lubricants. We service HVAC, install water heaters, propane tanks, and accessories. And yes, we'll even deliver right where you need it. Because for us, serving is more than a job, it's a way of life. We are proud to employ your neighbors and to be a cornerstone of your community. We're Valley-wide. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. We're here for you.
As Idahoans, we're not afraid to take risks.
All the way, all the way. Go. All the way down, all the way down.
Driving under the influence is not a risk we're willing to take. Be around to do more of what you love.
Vaping sucks you in quick, and the more you vape, the harder it is to quit. Not to mention all the chemicals and health problems. That's why thousands of teens are joining My Life, My Quit. Visit mylifemyquit.com or text Start My Quit to 36072.
Welcome back to Moscow High School as the Grangeville Bulldogs defeat the Moscow Bears in the season opener here on our North Idaho game night on IdahoSports.com. 26-20 is your final score. If we gave a little summary of this ball game, to start everything off, Grangeville scored, and we really went back and forth the entire game. It was in that third quarter where we thought Moscow had an opportunity to inch closer. They tied it up at 14 off a really good run by Colton Kendall. And then late in that third quarter, Grangeville striked with a deep pass from Gage Smith to Tate Shoemaker, a 67-yarder. And then after a couple defensive stands, Grangeville shut the door with a 36-yard run from Tate Shoemaker. From there, Moscow scored late as the clock expired, a 19-yard pass from Wyatt Cross to Ryle Cheney. Tim, what was your main takeaway from this ball game for both teams?
First thing I think you got to look at it is both teams can't leave here feeling obviously Grangeville won, but there's things they didn't do well. You're going to learn from it. It's first game. Moscow, I'm sure they're going to really feel down about, losing to a team, one division lower. But, another, again, non-league game, first game of the year, you got to go in and you got to find all the positives out of that. And, you had a freshman quarterback that played, I think, really, really well. He's just going to get better, it looks like. You found out that Colton Kendall can run the ball pretty darn good. They had some guys go down with injuries. We don't know how serious they are, but obviously there's a lot of things both teams can clean up. We talked about that after halftime, if teams could kind of finish. Grangeville did a little bit better job of finishing some of their drives. Moscow, they kind of had a harder time, and then like you said, both teams kind of hurt themselves with some silly penalties and maybe took some opportunities away. But I think all in all, both teams are going to go in the locker room and look at a lot of things they got to fix. But that's what game one's for.
Yep, I 100% agree. It's going to be exciting to see how these teams progress. Grangeville, obviously, they have big challenges in their league with Priest River. It's going to be exciting to see how that works out for them throughout the year. And then Moscow, they have a very bright future. Mm-hmm. I mean, not to say they can't compete. They won their league last year, and I think they're going to be in a great opportunity. But, the future in Moscow is bright with Wyatt Cross at quarterback. And that was something I would be extremely excited about. For our player of the game tonight, I think it's probably unanimous that we would probably go with Gage Smith.
Yep.
Gage Smith threw 3 touchdown passes, had 2 sacks, was just all over this ball game on the offensive side of the ball, the defensive side of the ball. And so that would be our Idaho Shift player of the game, brought to you by the Idaho Transportation Department. Any other words you'd want to mention on Gage Smith?
Oh, I think just kind of the whole, like you said, kind of the whole aspect of the game. He just kind of proved that, that was his game out there. And especially there towards the end, he kind of took control and he did his thing, and he just showed why he's going to be a really, really phenomenal player.
Yeah, absolutely. Whether you're on the field or the road, be in the moment and free from distractions, and that's Gage Smith. He's always free of distractions. This has been an IdahoSports.com Game Streams production of the North Idaho Game Night. As always, coverage on IdahoSports.com is presented by Project Filter Valleywide Cooperative, Next Steps Idaho's, Idaho's college safety programs, and the Idaho Office of Highway Safety. Next week we will be in a couple places. We'll actually start out in Cottonwood for the Council Lakeside game, and then we will travel up down to Lewiston for the 7 o'clock game between Lewiston and Post Falls. So it'll be exciting. Special thanks here to Athletic Director Pat Laney and everyone here at Moscow and Bear Field for their hospitality and help in getting this game broadcast to you. Congratulations again to our IdahoSports.com player of the game, presented by Idaho Office of Highway Safety, Gage Smith. Thanks again for joining us as the Grangeville Bulldogs defeat the Moscow Bears 26-20. As for everyone here at Idaho Sports, especially Tim Soflo and myself, Hayden Uhlencott, we are wishing you a good evening.
This has been a presentation of IdahoSports.com Game Streams. This broadcast is copyrighted to IdahoSports.com. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or other use of this broadcast without the expressed written consent of IdahoSports.com is strictly prohibited.